In nomine Christi. Amen.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and fuck OBS and fuck my inability to do one fucking job. We have somehow botched in negative time. How the hell do we do that? Jesus H fucking Christ up the ass with no lube. So, anyway, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Monastery, the open bar of the internet, where we, the good brothers and sisters of this holy of temples, seek enlightenment the drunkest and craziest way possible, by laughing at stupid every week. I am your one and only gaming monk, better known as Mildra. It is the 23rd of June 2019 in the year of our unholy of lords. I will probably be drinking a little bit more than usual tonight. And with me, I have two of my good brothers. We have the flamboyant flyer and living Wikipedia, good brother Flutter, and we have the bane of NPCs and is still laughing at the Mets, metting it up, good brother Aaron. How's everybody doing tonight?
the Mets. Meet the Mets. Step right up and beat the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life.
Oh, and we had a time of our life today. El Mago just sunk the fucking Mets. Yeah, you were doing so good with DeGrom keeping us down to like 2 runs, but then your bullpen had to fuck it up and Javi happened. I know the Cubs have been inconsistent as of late, but you know what? Hell, if it's an opportunity to laugh at the Mets at their expense, good. And guess what, kids? We're 1 week away.
Yep. We are 1 week away from the greatest holiday in the history of sport. Especially, although it's not the greatest holiday for the Mets, because they still have about 16 years.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Bobby Bonilla Day. $1.2 million every July 1st.
Up until 2035.
Yep.
It's amazing that a player as honestly mediocre as Bobby Bonilla managed to get the greatest payday of all times.
Oh boy.
Yep. But as for the Mets, well, I'll have to do the line that I did before we went live. Are you ready for frustrating and hair-pulling action? It's time for another disappointing season of Mets baseball. The shining apple of Queens is so close to the fruits of another World Series that you can almost taste it, but they will snag defeat from the jaws of victory yet again. Last year, we're not going to talk about that. The offense is able to do things and stuff.
Why the hell did the Cubs didn't get fucking DeGrom is still a fucking mystery to me.
Although I have one comment saying, just you wait, fans. That optimism will be gone faster than you can say Mets re-signed Jose Reyes. Screw it. We are the Knicks.
Hairball? It's because the Mets always tank every year. They're worse than my boys. And that's saying something.
Exactly. I mean, the Mets, it's even worse than getting punched in the dick annually.
Well, it's even worse because the Mets suck so bad that they set concession stands on fire.
Yep.
Yeah. And by the way, that was Javi Baez's 100th career homer. So congratulations to everybody.
Apples and oranges.
Yes. But other than that, I'm laughing at all the usual dumpster fires.
Yep. But don't worry, we have other dumpster fires we'll be getting to.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
As some of you saw, I did put up the review for Tech Noir yesterday, which when I saw that it was when I initially saw it and found out that it was going to be a story game-esque cyberpunk, I thought it was going to be shit. Tech Noir is not quite as bad as I thought, and the transmission system they use for generating story seeds is actually pretty nice.
Oh god! Every time I hear the name Tech Noir, I'm reminded of that song from Terminator when they're in that fucking bar.
Yeah, I think that was by design. But as far as what's coming next week, I'll be tackling Unchained Heroes, which is one of the games I kind of teased when I did that whole Sayonara D&D thing, and I talked about a few alternatives. After that, I'll be tackling a Japanese tabletop for the first time in months with Ryutama. And then 7th Sea 2nd Edition, which is going to be awkward for me because as much as I like his games, John Wick is kind of an ass.
Yeah. And by the way, Ball, Stomping Grounds isn't a dumpster fire. It's worse. It's a fucking tire fire.
Yeah, it's a tire fire, and guess what? It's in my neck of the woods.
And from what I heard, they were having
Commodore.
trouble getting people in the building.
What? They were having trouble getting people in the damn Tacoma Dome? Are you serious?
Yep. Nobody
Yeah,
wants to
they're
go
hav-
see that shit.
They were having trouble selling tickets.
They might as well have all their fucking shows in Saudi Arabia at this point.
Especially since Brian's out with an injury, and they were hoping they could use that as the draw, which not the smartest move, especially when you got him heel. But
Yeah.
but after 7th Sea Second Edition, I'll be tackling Legend System, which has, in my opinion, the best multi-classing of any D20 style game. Period.
Nice.
And after that is going to be Strike, which is trying to be Burning Wheel meets D&D 4th Edition.
Ah.
Yeah.
So those will be some interesting things to note. Also, tomorrow I will not be tackling either Chinese Paladin or Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. Because the gimmick that I've gone with so far is that Monday is the RPG night, and Tuesday is the action game night. And Siberian, yes, I will be looking into the 2D20 system. It's just I do have a script finished for that. It's just not going to happen this month.
Mm.
It's plus when I put it to a vote, it seems like the majority of people want me to look at the John Carter RPG.
Oh.
There's multiple 2D20 games, but I didn't feel like going through all of them at once because they're ultimately going to be too similar to each other. So I put it to a vote, and John Carter was the one that won out. That said, I'm probably going to highlight a nice little tutorial I found for Conan 2D20. It's a basic tutorial because the thing is that the thing you have to keep in mind. Leos, that vote was on Twitter a few weeks back. If it comes to it, I may redo that vote and put it up on both Discord and on Twitter. And I'm probably going to use all four. So if I do this vote again, it's going to be Conan, John Carter, Infinity, Star Trek.
Yeah. Also, by the way, today is also the 30th anniversary of the 1989 Batman movie.
Yep.
Featuring, I think, the greatest Batman ever played on film, Michael Keaton.
Wait, Michael
Keaton, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was saying that's who you got as the top tier. I would have thought you would have put in the TAS version.
Yeah, I would have expected Kevin Conroy.
Well, like I said, I'm talking about film, not overall.
All right.
That's fair.
Siberian's going, not Adam West.
Adam West, we don't talk about him. I mean, don't get me wrong.
We don't talk about the 60s Batman series.
Yeah. And we definitely don't talk about Batfleck. Or Batman and Robin, for that matter.
Oh no.
Batman and Robin is not a bad film, but I do think it's a bit overhated.
It's just a bad script. Director suffered from the Dunning-Kruger effect.
What I think happened is the director and the producer didn't get along. Wait
a minute. Well, then again, the fucking producer, that said producer is fucking John Peters.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think what happened was he wanted to go one way. The producer wanted to go camp and dark at the same time, and everything just kind of tumbled down from there.
So basically, so the one to blame for Batman and Robin was John Peters.
Yeah.
Okay, that works. Because John Peters is an idiot.
Well,
Right.
they were so afraid of the PTA getting on their ass over the over Batman Returns,
Oh yeah.
which is probably the reason why they had that Film Usher gag in Gremlins 2 as a take that.
Right.
Anyway, so instead, what's going to be tackled on the Monday streaming slot is Numenera. And you might be asking, how am I going to tackle a tabletop RPG? Here's the thing: it started as a tabletop RPG, but it was always part of the plan that it was going to be a tabletop RPG and a video game. That was the plan from day one.
Ah.
Because you have to keep in mind, Numenera is the spiritual successor to Planescape.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, sorry to interrupt, but I fucked up. It wasn't John Peters that produced Batman and Robin. It was Peter McGregor Scott.
Ah.
Who?
I'm thinking Wild Wild West.
Wild Wild West I enjoyed as dumb fun.
Yeah.
Even if when I see the Tarantula, I keep making Marge Simpson impressions because OSW and Robo Garden. Homer Simpson, you fucking animal, ya! But I digress. Let's start off with the Kickstarter spotlight. And the first one, I had asked in our Discord whether or not I should throw money at this, because our first little entry is a comic called Soul Finder, created by Douglas. Yep, created by Douglas Ernst. And the artwork that they've got for this.
Oh, I like it a lot.
Yeah,
Oh,
just some guy
yeah.
did a video on the thing, and I'm glad that this thing has managed to break its goal. It was only asking for $10,000. They've got about 13.5 grand, and they still got 21 days left.
I think they're gonna. I think they're probably gonna triple it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I don't know, but you know what? This guy, I wonder if this guy went on with EVS or anyone else like that. You know,
I don't know if he did or not, but I do know that that our usual crowd has highlighted the thing.
That's cool.
This also marks the first, because this is the first comic book that we've highlighted in our spotlight. And I think I'm going to rebrand it the Crowdfund Spotlight, and hopefully I can get somebody to do a graphic or something.
Right.
Yeah, because like I said, not all the good shit is found on Kickstarter. It's all. In fact, I think Indiegogo is a lot better, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There isn't enough tabletop and game stuff on Indiegogo, which is the reason why I haven't brought it up as much.
Yeah.
Right.
Which shocks the hell out of me, because the independent comics are doing gangbusters on Indiegogo. So why not tabletop?
Yeah.
I'm pretty. I might do a bit of a. A while back I had thought that because I found Lancer on itch.io that I might find other TRPGs there, and I did. The problem is a lot of them are of the type that I don't touch.
Oh.
A lot of story games and a lot of things that you would see at XOXO, which is the one convention
Drink for XOXO.
And drink for XOXO.
Fuck that convention.
But
it's like South by Southwest retarded cousin.
We all know what they want to be Burning Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might as well burn themselves alive.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the next one we have is Bleak Spirit, which was made all the way out in Oxford. They are
Ooh.
asking. I'm not doing the pound conversion, but they're asking for 5,096. They're currently at 5,191. They have 24 days to go. It's describing itself as a role-playing game about exploring dangerous, melancholy places and discovering how they came to be that way.
Interesting. Yeah, it's
Very interesting.
it's a little scotch north of 4,000 pound. So yeah,
Because the world is gloomy, desolate, lonely, but also beautiful. Long abandoned fortress ruins still stand as awe-inspiring testament to the might and vision of their creators. Besides the hungry beasts that prowl the forests, flowers grow, picked up by rays of sunlight glancing through the leaves. In this world comes a wanderer, a lone traveler from somewhere else who bears a heavy destiny. Bleak Spirit is their story. Apparently the inspiration is Dark Souls, Hollow Knight, and Sultan's Sanctuary. They want to use a rotating role system where 2 or more players collaborate to create the story about this wanderer. I.e., one person takes the... You have one player taking the role of the world, one is the wanderer, and the rest form the chorus.
Yeah, it's two or more players.
So basically, post-apocalyptic Canada.
Yeah. Things like these special cards and like the only problem that I'm having with this is that this is hinging way too much on narrative. And it's like they wanted to make a solo game but couldn't quite commit. Because there are games that are very much dedicated to and we've got pronouns and we've got cultural consultation.
Pronouns in the bios.
Drink. Oh,
yeah.
Why must you do this?
You had me and then you lost me.
Oh my god!
Now it makes sense why they decided to go narrative based. The reason why the pronouns and consultants are red flags for me is because whenever I see that, it always accompanies a game that is designed more about being a collaborative story than about actually playing it.
Oh my god! You're better off. Shit, this shit is better off over at XOXO.
And this is the kind of thing that is built for streamers, not for people who actually play games.
Exactly.
Fortunately, as far as trying to play Dark Souls style RPGs, the fans have already created one that I can do just fine. Dice Souls.
Yeah.
So,
not to mention
and
there's
the trash it goes next.
Yep. Not to mention there's also the board game.
Yeah, but that's a board game, not an RPG.
True.
Yeah. Into the trash it goes.
And now for a case of the little Kickstarter that could. And full disclosure, I did back this one because I had first found out about Baz Stevens' work when he was posting it in the 13th Age forums, which is the basis for this game's mechanics, which is how I found out about this. And I see Doku in the chat. Get your ass in here.
Yeah, we got drinks, dude. 300 pounds he asked for, and he got back over 4,000 pounds.
Yeah, and he's still got 22 days left.
Yeah, might get 5 figures.
To a point where he had to put an announcement saying, "Okay, so apparently I have to come up with stretch goals. I'll get back to you guys on this." I legitimately don't think he expected it to take off as much as it did, which is probably the reason.
Yeah, he legitimately didn't expect getting funded that much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really. Well, you do gotta set your expectations low, and you won't be disappointed.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I love how the cover is trying to be a when I reviewed Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea, I said that a fair bit of the artwork, especially the artwork on chapters, reminded me of the John Buscema era of Marvel Conan.
Yeah.
Ah,
And I
Nice.
kind of get that vibe out of this, especially with how this cover is set up. Does that not look like something you would see out of a comic book cover in the 80s?
Yeah.
exactly.
But I do like that he is going with a no BS attitude, saying, "I'm going to make a couple assumptions here. You know what an RPG is. This isn't exactly your first rodeo, right? Also, I'm reasonably sure that you're also a GM, which means you know how books like this work already. All of which is good. I've written King of Dungeons in a pretty conversational tone. If I've got it right, this should feel like one gamer talking to another, rather than hold your hand through basic role-playing procedures you have seen umpteenth times in the hoary old "what is a role-playing game" section that you probably just skimmed anyways. I'm going to
Oh,
pitch
yeah.
this my way to you, GM to GM. And truth be told, even with all the even with the 50 or so games that I've reviewed on my own on this channel, 9 times out of 10 the GM section I end up skipping, or at the least skimming through.
So basically, this guy doesn't want to insult everyone's intelligence and decided, you know what, you're back, you're playing this because you know what the hell you're doing. So you know what, fuck it, let's do it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see, and he shows the character sheet, which is a nice, simple approach. It kind of reminds me of Leos. The hand is up. The hand is up.
When your hand goes up, oh, I was about to do the Miz.
Oh, come on! You've got better taste. You got better taste in wrestlers than that.
Yeah.
Okay, then he goes into where the thing came from. I do like that he calls this a remix or a cover version, not a retro clone.
Ah.
He says he likes tactical action-oriented combats. You have my attention. He likes freewheeling exploration and interaction, and he wants it all to hang together. He based his core
Nice.
premise of what if professional adventuring was an actual thing, i.e., you adventure for a actual living, not just because not just you're a murder hobo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see. He's using the Archmage engine, which is used in 13th Age. Which, if I hadn't made it clear from my review a while back, I absolutely love 13th Age. It is the perfect union of elements from D&D from D&D 3rd and 4th edition.
Right.
Let's see.
I think this will be very successful. Like I said, I just wish he would put this out there a bit more in the general, so this way most people would know about this, because it seems like this is one of those situations where he's like, okay, I'll just put it on Kickstarter, see how it does. It might not do a damn thing, but now he's getting like 10 times over. He kept his expectations like super low, and all of a sudden, it's getting sort of it's halfway to 5 figures, with about 3 fucking weeks to go. So he's basically gonna get 5 figures without fucking trying.
Yes.
So if he put effort into this, I guarantee you he'd go 6 figures. So my theory is this is probably the first of a few campaigns he's gonna do on Kickstarter. You bet your ass next time he's definitely gonna put in some effort.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And whoever I think the reason why he's been able to set it up as well with this is that he already kind of had the rule set in place. It's just this is more of I need money to make this thing look presentable. And yes, Siberian, I have heard of the dungeon core genre. But see. Then go. Oh, you certainly got monster design on pat. I think one of the things that's definitely helped him.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things that's definitely helping him on this is the fact that aside from the fact that he's not asking for a huge amount of money, he's not trying. He knows exactly what he's trying to do here, and he's not trying to do anything more than that.
Yeah, the no bullshit approach is actually works.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And lastly, we have Adventures in Austerion,
Ooh.
which is our first French RPG, is our first French Kickstarter.
Oh boy, let's hope it doesn't throw up the white flag.
See, they're asking for 15,000 euros. They are currently at 41.2 thousand euros with 5 days to go. Apparently, they got funded in 1 day.
They're about to trip. They look like they're about to triple their asking.
Yep.
Yep. 46.9 out of 17.
So apparently the idea that they have with this is a mixture of a hybrid between RPG and board game. I do like that we have that we have a modular board game approach. So I could see this being used as Space Hulk for people who don't want to break their damn bank.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, you mentioned Hero Quest earlier, and yeah, this sounds something in that vein.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So at first I thought it was going to be a board game with all pre-gens, but it looks like the core box is going to have a GM screen, 16 character sheets, 10 blank and 6 pre-gens, 2 booklets, a rule book and adventure book, and 36 locations on 18 double-sided tiles, a GM kit for cutout stuff, traps, secret passages, catastrophe corks, different cards, hazard providers. I'm not entirely sure about using clear dice. I've never been a fan of using clear dice.
Right.
And
hey, shut up! I got clear dice.
Huh?
Shut up! I got clear dice. A problem with clear dice? I will cut you. Anyway, choosing McQuallen as a character. Turn 1, Kingdom Riot.
Anyone feel the urge to have cake?
Cake or death?
But they've hit most of their stretch goals. Let's see. Then there's a bit on the setting. Austerion is a setting where most of the land is still uninhabited, although ruins are still plentiful. Isolation between the peoples have allowed them to develop their own cultures. In Austerion, struggles are local, taking shape day to day. Each kingdom is unable to see further than the end of its frontiers or its neighbors.
This card's fucking hilarious.
Let's see. Kingdom of the Oak. We have the armatures.
Oak Fat Veils.
You play as adventurers. You have 16 archetypes. And given the fact that the archetypes are called vocations, I think it's safe to say that we're not going to be dealing with the traditional approach to classes, especially with some of the names of the vocations. Rogue of the Depths. Hey there, Doku.
I heard most of the land was uninhabited. I'm guessing this is an alternate reality where Hitler actually won the war.
We already have that. It's called Iron Sky.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Attack on Titan. Now I don't know. I can't keep track.
Oh God, yeah.
Don't worry, we'll get to that.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, there's a funny ass card there. It says, "Leave me alone." Let me read this. The party is harassed by a face licker, and harmless. You mean a harmless but unbearable creature. It spends its life licking as many humanoid faces as he can. When its victims look away, the creature hurls itself onto them, extending its huge tongue and trying to voraciously cover their face with its drool. So basically like a pug.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it's not a pug. It's Brad Marchand.
I've seen this off-brand anime before. I know how this ends.
Oh boy.
It doesn't end well.
Yeah, but so it looks like it has a proper setup for the for its system.
Oh,
Definitely. Just looking at the character sheet. I do like the name for the proficiencies that we have here, like Silver Tongue, Hocus Pocus, Where is it? Good idea. Nowhere to be found.
Good
I
idea
know
is my
best.
favorite. Good idea was my favorite one because every time somebody would use that as a GM, I would make sure it leads to the most horrific outcome possible.
Oh god.
Of course you would.
Let's see, we have a kind of freeform magic effect, so it looks like we're not dealing with Vancian hell. The map thing does bug me a little bit. I see that we also have a jumble card called "There's Something Wrong," but I can see some potential in this.
Man, it's just the way the flavor text is written is just fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It does seem quite cheeky. I like that.
Yeah. I don't like my unlike the one from earlier, my wokeness alarm isn't going off.
Yeah, there's a lot of sarcasm in there. You know what this reminds me? It's basically this. It's basically Hero Quests with a little munchkin thrown in there.
That's a good analogy.
Because the munchkin cards are just so fucking hilarious.
Although
that a Ninja Burger.
If I didn't know any better, I would have assumed that this game was made in the UK in the 90s. Like there's a lot.
Oh yeah.
Because maybe it's just me, but I get a very British humor vibe from this.
It does kind of read like whoever created these games probably read a lot of White Dwarf magazines when they were growing up.
Yeah, that or watch.
Yeah,
not only
guys
watch,
at the Architect Shard.
Yeah, not only watch Monty Python, but
they likely did.
They even watch fucking Faulty Towers.
I'd go one step further. Somebody
What?
at the table was probably playing Ultima.
Oh yeah.
Now there were a bunch of hands-on previews in the last few days for stuff that we talked about during that E3 stream, but that's not what's gonna get covered, because I don't feel like having you guys go through a bunch of videos again unless I'm doing a special. But the first that I think we need to talk about as far as the news is Pondsmith 3. Even though we kind of talked about this last week, I wanted to go into more detail on the matter because Pondsmith is having none of the NPC shit.
Yeah, and we're going to talk more about Pondsmith later on because these people just won't shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's basically their entire existence, is to rant and ramble incoherently on Twitter.
Yeah, no shit.
And even the art director defended the ad Pondsmith is doing. Pondsmith's defending.
First off, we have what Pondsmith said last week. Want to say this just once. I am really tired of well-meaning people on internet chat boards paternalistically telling me what I, as a black person, should be offended by. You want to be my ally? Go gird up your loins, and at this year's Thanksgiving dinner, have the nerve to tell your racist Uncle Bob to shut the fuck up for a change.
That quote makes me laugh every single time I hear it.
Yeah,
Wait, just the ultimate proverbial slap in the face. Just shut the fuck up.
no, that's no slap. That's a backhand.
Yeah, that's a yeah.
He didn't. Yeah, it's a backhand, and then it was followed by a slap, and he didn't even use the baby powder. He made you look at it first, and then toss it over his shoulder like Luke Skywalker.
He also defended the animals gang, and said, "You know, I would have thought that having the leader call herself orangutan would have been a clue."
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have thought, but we all know the mindset and the how cultured the individuals we're dealing with here.
Oh my god! You know, Doku. I mentioned this before the stream about Ronin. Spoiler alert: it's gonna have roof Koreans in it.
Oh.
Yeah, that alone's gonna get these idiots dander up.
Oh, I cannot wait. Reset
Yeah,
era
the art-
Kotaku.
the art-
Oh god.
Well, the art directors, who they're referring to when it comes to Polygon, for explaining that basically the advertisement is what you're fighting against when it comes to hypersexualization and ads.
Well, we both. I want to hedge a bit of a bet. How much are you willing to bet that that every single person who goes full NPC has never had sex?
Oh,
Or
Can we
never
go with a
jerked off.
percentage?
I'm gonna probably go to. I'll probably go to 2-1 on that one because I know someone. I think the problem is that because number one, they probably can't get. They probably could get a woman in the past, but they became so fucking woke because they think they're trying to flagellate themselves for their past sins. Because I know a couple people like that, and the second reason I say that is because let's just say they tend to get a little. They tend to be the biggest fucking creepers.
I'm gonna go
Sadly.
an even one. I'm gonna go an even 1-to-1 on this one, but I'm gonna add a modifier to it.
Yeah.
150%, they're too scared to even look at a woman, let alone talk to them. The other 1% are probably some of the biggest freaking creeps with skeletons in their closet.
Well, there's a
yeah.
reason why we keep resetting the damn clock. Anyway,
Yep.
At this point, the clock is fucking broken.
yeah. Continuing on with the news, Osprey Games, which is responsible for a bunch of different titles, is going to be putting out two new RPG series this year. The first both of these I am somewhat familiar with, and I actually have an earlier version of it. The first is Romance of the Perilous Land, which is meant to be a very British RPG.
Oh boy.
And based around British folklore.
So basically, any food you eat in that game is going to be pretty damn bland.
Yep.
This
Yeah.
reminds me of that meme video where the more recent one where they convince all the students that potatoes are actually just really slow-moving animals because they have skin and eyes.
Yeah.
Rip Desmond. F in the chat for Desmond the potato. He died doing what he loved.
Yeah, definitely.
The other one is Paleomythic, which they're describing as a game of stone and sorcery.
Huh. Pretty straightforward and to the point, but I can get behind it.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with the classic.
Yeah, little caveman RPG right there.
And hey, if I run it, it'll be a game that's so easy a caveman can do it.
Not cool.
Hey, no, we call them cave people now, okay? We're sensitive here.
I'm not.
Very inclusive.
I think I've made it
I'm
clear
not
I
either.
step on everybody's toes. Fuck them.
Yeah. Same
right.
here. Same here if it pissed me off.
So you know how last week we talked about us finally getting a happy ending regarding regarding the whole Stardock and Star Control shit. Well, it looks like they weren't
get
kidding when they talked about collaborating.
Yeah, the lawsuit is done. The lawyers have packed it up and went back to their stucco caves. And the original makers of Star Control are now graciously in the company of Stardock Airtan, where the trio will be working together on a new Star Control adventure. Yay!
Yay!
A little bit of light in a world drowned in darkness. Take it when I can get it.
Yep.
Yeah, bitter lawsuit ends very peaceably.
And to think,
Fucking God.
this entire pissing match was ended because of a conversation about bees.
About bees.
Yeah, out of all things.
Well, if it's stupid,
Well, I
but
guess
it
I'm gonna
works,
have to-
it's not stupid.
I'm gonna have to jump on the bandwagon now. We need to save the bees. If more shit like this keeps happening, all right. Ethan Van Sciver, was this what you were up to when you made Blood Honey?
Oh, yeah.
Cyberfrog
And-
intervene.
Hey there, Misanthropic, and yes, you are slightly late and slightly fig.
Oh, yeah.
What if I told you that figs are not fruits and actually really just slow-moving animals?
Oh.
What the hell was that?
What?
When you're talking about figs, someone got spastic in the background.
Oh, and
Well, I guess
Vega's
we're
here.
being watched
Vega's
by
here as
Google.
well. It's like we got the whole damn party in here.
Oh,
like it.
yeah.
So next we have
Well,
a
I'll
little
cheers to
something
that.
called Driven Out, which I have known about, and one of the things I enjoy is the fact that they outright said, "We will not hold your hand."
Good.
That's a cheers.
The
Instant
makers
cheers,
of
thank you.
Bastard's Tale.
Mm-hmm. Because you have a
Reminds
farm.
me of a Genesis title.
You're playing as a farm girl who is clearly getting into things that would be way over her head normally, and it looks like it's all about knowing how to block, because apparently that hit point total that's gonna be your hit points for the entire game.
Yeah, no power-ups, no nothing. You're just good.
$10 right now says the NPC crowd is going to be saying this portrays women as being weak or violence.
Of
against
course.
women.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Sorry about that, guys.
Calling it now.
My nephew came in the room.
Also, that's who's being all spastic.
Yep.
It's all good. But yeah, no, I'm calling it now. Somehow this is going to be advocating for violence against women or that women are weak.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Anita Sarkeesian, have you finished that Tropes of Women in Video Game series yet? I think
Oh, we'll get to her.
We'll get to her later.
Cause we're gonna work. We got a whole segment waiting for at her expense.
And I have an entire case of beer. We're just ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And yes, I think that was an armored gorilla.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
On
So
loan from Strider.
I'd say this is going to be interesting, and plus near the end it shows that they are not sticking with the typical fantasy affair. The thing that is going to make the thing a bit more fair is that even though you have a limited supply of them, you do get a device that lets you basically put down a glorified checkpoint wherever you want. Except the catch is that checkpoint can get wrecked.
Ah.
Oh, so you can save scum, but some asshole might come around and fuck with it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
I actually quite like this mechanic.
Yep. Next, we have something that I didn't know if it was going to be coming stateside, but now I have confirmation. Ninja Warriors, once again, will be getting a Western release.
Good.
Good.
Thank you.
And it seems like the Taito Corporation's involved. I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Mm-hmm. So
makes me
apparently
happy.
they're going to be
I'm
releasing
getting
it
tired of
physical and digital. I don't have a release date yet, but I will be keeping an eye out because I fucking loved Ninja Warriors on the SNES, and it looks like this might be an attempt at a expanded remake.
Oh God, I'm looking in the comments. What if the German publishers reduced their size back to the old version? The Ninja Warriors, not again.
Oh.
Are they talking about the fucking arcade version?
I
think
the
so.
original arcade version was just of Ninja Warriors is a very different game. It's a lot less interesting.
It's a slower version of Shinobi.
Yeah, the only thing of note with it was the fact that it was one of those big ass multi-screen arcades, which,
Oh yeah.
to be honest, I think the only arcade games I can think of that actually did that multi-screen thing well, where it actually felt like it meant something, were X-Men, Welcome to Die,
Welcome to Die.
and Darius. That's about it.
Yeah. But to be fair, that game came out in '87.
Yeah. Whereas this is an adaptation of Ninja Warrior. The Ninja Warriors that we got on the SNES was the sequel Ninja Warriors Again, which is a very bad name.
Yeah.
Although I do love that somebody had posted the following GIF,
Which I had posted as an image in the council.
Yep. Again, once again.
Going Super Saiyan before Super Saiyan was even a thing.
And they made her tits bigger. The problem here, though, is she's a cyborg.
If only we could say
Do
the
not
same for
fist
Tina.
android girls.
It won't end well for you, folks.
No, it won't.
Now, the
I don't
next
know, I
one.
quite like
Now, this
fisting
is
my
something
blender.
that I've had my eye on for a long ass time, and I'm glad to see that it's finally entering beta, because I've had the alpha demo for a while, and I might stream that on a random stream Friday. But Dual Gear is effectively. I think the closest point of comparison I can make is if you use a general setup that you see in Valkyria Chronicles mixed with Front Mission.
Ooh.
Nice.
Now, the game still doesn't have a proper release date, but they are going to be in beta. They are going to be in beta phase very soon. It's likely that they'll be doing that in July or early August.
Yeah, which means depending on how the beta goes, that's when they'll announce the release date. Because I don't think they're even sure at this point. Hence the beta.
Well, the other thing you have to keep in mind is that Dual Gear is made by a very small team. Although even with the team size that they have, I think it's impressive that they've managed to get this much done. But just to give an idea about the game itself, well, first let me post one of the screenshots they have on their Steam page, and of course, yep, I knew that Misanthropic was gonna love this.
We got fanboy orgasm here.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got fanboy squeeing. Yeah, we've got we've got a fangasm.
Yep.
You kind of see the comparison.
Max.
We'll talk about Evangelion soon enough.
Just hand Misanthropic a copy of Into the Breach, and that'll calm him down for a little while.
Yeah.
So next we have. Unfortunately, I missed the limited time demo on this, so I couldn't assess it. But Children of Morta, which is they're apparently describing as a story-driven action roguelite.
Huh. Split characters, emotional tale focused on a family of
Flutter,
heroes.
you're doing it again.
Yeah.
I will say, I very much like the art style for this.
Yeah.
The way it's animated kind of reminds me of something out of Vanillaware.
Ah. Also, family of heroes. Nice touch.
Oh, since it's roguelike, you're probably going to be dying a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But hey, at least you don't have crazy ass Dennis coming after you.
Exactly.
And Misanthropic, you might be screaming again because we've also got a
more
little
mech
thing
porn.
called Hardcore Mecha, which I originally found out about a few years ago when it was known as Code Hardcore, which is being developed
more
by a team that had possibly the best name that you can have, Rocket Punch Games.
Rocket Punch Games.
Oh yeah. This is mech porn.
Yep.
There
I'm not
seems to be a
entirely
theme with this.
I'm not entirely
seems
a
to be
big
a
fan
theme
of
with
this
tonight's episode.
semi-super deformed style, but given the fact that it's trying to be a mech with a lot of platforming elements, I think it had to be done this way.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it seems we have a theme for this show, and we're gonna get to it a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe I should have used that for. Maybe I should revolve the theme around that for the title. Although I do have to say they did recently put out a figure of the Thunderbolt, and I want one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh!
watching this, it looks like it has a lot of elements of like Robotech, Gundam, like Voltron, old school mech influence with kind of a retro feel but updated. I can get
Yeah.
behind this. I like it.
Yeah, but like I said,
Right.
it's gonna compete with like a shit ton of mech tiles that are coming out now. I mean, shit, BattleTech's coming back. This got Evangelion in being popular. This, Jesus Christ.
What are you talking about?
Mech.
BattleTech coming back? It's been here for a while.
I'm talking. It came back months ago with that new version. Remember?
You have to be specific when you're talking about BattleTech or Mech Warrior.
Yeah, because there's like 70,000 fucking offshoots of that thing.
No. Here's the reason why. BattleTech is the name of the skirmish game and also the name of the harebrained thing. Mech Warrior is the action series that is coming back.
Actually, has anybody else noticed? It seems like the big mecha robot genre is actually starting to make a comeback with a lot of love letters to the old school 80s and 90s
I've noticed
franchises that made it popular.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, it seems to be a friggin' theme in the last couple weeks or so.
Well, hell, remember just last season in the anime community, we had SSSS Gridman, and that was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. And JT
Especially
makes a
mostly
good point.
Ultraman anime.
This does have a bit of a Super Robot Wars feel.
Now the question here is, are we gonna get a fucking Xenogears remake as a result?
Probably not.
Yeah, because I know
Leos. Pat Labor, get off my front yard.
yeah.
Yeah. Moving on from that. Now you may be thinking, why did I put Destiny 2 in the news section? Well, it's because it's kind of fun. It's kind of funny that after with the
It got
upcoming expansion,
uncoated.
yeah, they got unfucked. Because for a while, Destiny 2 was one of my punching bags. In fact, they would have been the front runners for Activision as Hattery if I had started this podcast sooner than I did.
Yeah.
But right around the time that we started, they were already starting. They weren't in the news as much, and things were starting to kind of trickle. And then the breakup occurred. And well, currently they are at they're at they currently current, ah currently Destiny has managed to break 1 million after having their viewer base be in free fall over several months. It's slowly recovering, and now they're finally doing the overhaul to Eververse that everybody had been clamoring about for the last 2 years.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it turns out, the reason they it hasn't been like that until now is because Bobby fucking Kotick.
Yeah.
So the TLDR version of what they're going to be doing is all Eververse armor, new and armor you've already acquired, is being converted into universal ornaments. These can be attached to any newly acquired legendary armor. Bright dust is going to come from doing bounties, not dismantling things you spent money on. Eververse items can now be pulled from your collections with glimmer/legendary shards instead of bright dust.
Good.
Huh.
This stream in the past 20 minutes has given me more good news than I've had all month.
Oh yeah.
Goes as it stands. Items are acquired by using bright dust, which is an in-game currency that can be purchased using real world money. You also receive small amounts of bright dust from breaking down cosmetic gear, but not enough. When it drops, you'll be able to earn bright dust through completing bounties.
Yeah, Bungie's starting to realize how Activision completely kiboshed their game. So now they've been spending the better part of the year unfucking it.
Now, I know some people
Yeah.
are going to say that they should have gotten rid of the Eververse completely, but that was never going to be in the cards.
Nah.
So doing it this way, it makes it so that it's less obtrusive. And who knows? Maybe they'll work their way into getting off of the dirty devs list. It's going to take a while, but possibly. And I think,
Yeah, it's like rehab.
well, from everything that I've heard, Forsaken was actually a good expansion for Destiny 2. So I think with that, people are starting to come back, and it is kind of strange that we're seeing this happen, because this exact kind of phenomenon happened with the Taken King, where the original Destiny had a bunch of problems, the 2 expansions didn't help, and then the Taken King came about and actually made Destiny fun.
Mm-hmm.
But next we have.
I think at that point when Taken King, I think at that point Bungie realized, you know what, we got to break away from fucking Activision. This isn't working.
Yeah. Granted, the cycle repeated itself in the first few expansions for Destiny 2, but still. Now, next we have Miyazaki explaining why his games are always bleak, and I do like the explanation that he gave. Because this was mostly an interview to discuss Elden Ring.
Yeah.
He said that Elden Ring is going to be his evolution from Dark Souls. He said that doesn't mean the gameplay will be identical, but you could say that Elden Ring belongs to the same genre. With a larger world, new systems and action mechanics inevitably become necessary. In that sense, I think Elden Ring is more of a natural evolution of Dark Souls. While the narrow and complex dungeons of our previous games were indeed interconnected, Elden Ring's environments will be much more open and vast. The idea of them going open does worry me. Mostly because, well, look at how big and open a lot of the Elder Scrolls games are, and how that turns out for them. I don't think that's gonna happen here, because Miyazaki has never stated that he has any interest in a procedurally generated setup.
I would trust this type of deal in this guy's hands rather than the fucking Hobbit, because I know he's not gonna be cutting corners.
Yep.
I think there's enough experience to be had where they could pull it off. Because let's be honest, the big problem with any sort of open world video game that's still narrative driven is allowing the player enough freedom to get across that sense of, it's an open world, you're not forced to do A, B, C, D, but not so much freedom as to the point where you end up like Bethesda, where it's just so convoluted and pointless that you can spend literally the entirety of playing the game doing absolutely nothing.
Pretty much.
Right.
Now,
It's a balancing act.
since George R. R. Martin is only handling the lore, I don't think we'll have Martin's issues.
I have a feeling that bullshit's gonna get in the way. It
I'm
is
crossing
George
my
R. R.
fingers.
Martin.
I'm crossing my fingers. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Game of Thrones. I don't hate George R. R. Martin, but I have my issues. That is a topic of conversation for another day.
Yeah.
But I hope you're right.
But regardless, when it comes to his worlds, this is what he had to say. Light looks more beautiful in darkness. When there is something beautiful in the middle of a wasteland, we are able to appreciate it more. One jewel doesn't look like much when you have a pile of them, but if you find one jewel in the midst of mud, it is worth so much more. Personally, a world that is happy and bright is something that just doesn't feel realistic to me. It may sound like I have a trauma or something, he laughs, but I believe the world is generally a wasteland that is not kind to us. That's just the way I see it.
And see, this gives me hope that this is actually going to be good, and I think something in the vein of, well, with the, not in the vein, but with the spirit of Dark Souls behind it as an open world game, could not only work, but actually work really, really well. Mechanics are going to be what really makes or breaks it.
Yeah. Like
We already know
we
the-
haven't heard
definitely.
we haven't heard too much specific about the mechanics, which leads me to believe that it's still early in development. And as far as the setting, aside from the fact that Vati had pointed out that there seems to be a lot of Celtic and Norse motifs in the work, is the fact that he's talked about this being more about human ambition as opposed to human folly. Which leads me to wonder if
For an open world game, that actually is a really good direction to take.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which leads me to wonder if he's trying to be more optimistic.
Optimistic in the gameplay, I would say.
Also, that gives him a really good idea to kick you in the balls whenever he feels like it.
Because he's a Japanese developer, it's his right.
Speaking of
like-
which,
more like it's the law.
Let's talk a bit about Toshihiro Nagoshi.
God bless this man.
First off, let me point out that at a previous convention he came out like he was a motherfucking pimp.
Oh,
and
boy, that should be
second off, I
entertaining.
cannot hate a man who brings in who thinks that it's a great idea to give an entire series of side missions to the roster of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Oh my god.
The more and more I hear about this guy, the more and more I like him.
And I'm not kidding. He brought in Kenzan. He brought in Hiroshi Tanahashi. He brought in Rainmaker Okada.
And I love how the picture they have of him, he's just holding up a beer with that kind of like, yeah, I said it, bitch. What are you gonna do? Kind of smirk. Like, God, I need to go to Japan just to have a drink with this dude.
He also brought in like Riki Choshu.
Yep. Misanthropic, I can see where you're coming from on FromSoft being a one-trick pony. On the other hand, if you can keep delivering on that one trick, why not? Now,
Hey,
if he
bro,
stops,
don't fix it.
Damn it, you just literally said exactly
hell,
what I was about to say.
Amplitude makes nothing but strategy games, but they do really mostly 4X strategy games with one exception, but they do really damn good with their strategy games. Like Endless Space 2 actually knocked off Stellaris off of me for what I consider my go-to Space 4X game.
You know what he should do to cement his Mad Lad status?
What?
He's got to do some. He's got to do something involving Japanese porn stars.
Yes.
Oh,
That will
Shit.
cement his Mad Lad status.
God, can you
Yes, it
imagine what
will.
would happen if you got him and Elon Musk in the same room together?
Oh yeah.
What's next?
Yeah.
What's next? Are we gonna have in a future Yakuza game? Are we going to have fucking Hitomi as a side character or something?
I wouldn't be surprised to see that.
You know,
that's
or-
actually not.
You know, if
Her
I
or Kao Shibuya.
if I end up jinxing that, I will fully take my lashing for it.
Oh
The
yeah.
thing is, though, I don't even think you have to worry because, no, it's not too far out of the realm of possibility. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
but they also Mulder, they also got like a few. He also got like gave a few side missions in one of the other Yakuza games to some of the old Japanese wrestling legends like Muto,
Flutter,
Shono, and
Flutter, you're going Philip again.
But I think it's a good possibility because it's been documented that both Kao Shibuya and Hitomi are both gamers.
yep.
Like I
Yes.
said, not outside of the realm of possibility.
I was an anime fan.
Yep. Anyway, he had this to say, and which seems to give me the indication that he ain't changing his ways anytime soon. Saying, first
Good.
and foremost, we think about the Japanese audience, and then we start thinking about Asian audiences. We make sure we create a game that's good and fun for them. Hopefully, that game will reach as many audiences in the West as possible. He added that there's that order to things when we're developing, and that mindset is something I don't think will change even as we go on. He's saying that if we start thinking about different audiences catering to all those different people, it will really lessen the appeal of what we're making here.
So basically, what he's saying is he doesn't give a fuck about what the woke thinks.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And he did say that he didn't expect the upswing in popularity that Yakuza or Ryuga Gotoku, if you want to be a full weeb. And he said, also, it's always just a lingering question of like, why, how did this happen? I'm just really grateful the fans really love it.
Good.
My only
you know what? That's an easy
advice to
question
you,
to
my only
answer.
advice to you, Nagoshi, don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Exactly.
If they like
Yep.
it, say good. Clearly, you're doing something right, so keep going with that.
Yeah, and hell,
Well,
even
and again,
even
that's what I was
Brent-
going to say. It's a really easy question to answer. It's because you produced a good product, you didn't try to pander, and people liked it. Don't
yeah,
Oh,
they?
yeah.
no, even Brandon Orselli gave him mad props, and I think we're going to be talking about the fallout of that pretty soon.
Yeah, that will get covered, and the thing is, I think part of the reason that this was a surprise is because if you recall, when they tried adapting the first Yakuza back on the PS2, that did not go well.
Oh, I played it. It was plodding, boring. It dragged on too
Even
long.
with Mark Hamill as Goro, as
Yeah. Even Mark Hamill couldn't save that game. It was very plodding. It had a lot of potential, but it was plodding. I mean, I heard Kiwami is like 1,000 times better,
It is.
except for one aspect. They should have kept the original mix of the fight music from the first game.
Yeah,
Because
that's
the music was fucking kick ass.
anyway.
yeah. So next we have a case of
Back in a second.
of a glorious troll job.
Yes,
Oh,
this.
So apparently there was an online petition from a Christian group that said tell Netflix to cancel Good Omens series for being blasphemous. The
American Society of Defense for the Defense of Tradition, Family, and Property.
Only problem is Netflix doesn't make the show. Amazon
It's
does.
Amazon Prime.
So Netflix UK had responded, "Okay, we promise not to make any more." And Amazon Prime has responded, "Hey Netflix, we'll cancel Stranger Things if you cancel Good Omens."
And then Neil Gaiman then said, "Best reply ever."
Of course, No, I wasn't surprised that a Christian group. I wasn't surprised that a Christian group wanted this thing banned, but I just found the whole thing
reason
funny.
that they want the series canceled is quote, it mocks God's wisdom. They're also angry that God is voiced by Frances McDormand. They're angry that God's a woman.
I don't think it. Even if no matter who was playing God, they would have been angry. But this isn't the first time that we have God played by a chick. Remember Dogma?
Yeah.
So that was no surprise at all. I might actually look at a couple episodes, and there's been even though Amazon Prime is always going to be looked at as the poor man's Netflix, there's been a few standouts.
Right.
All right, back.
Welcome back. You missed out on both Netflix and Amazon Prime trolling a petition by a bunch of Christians who demanded Good Omens be banned, except they picked the wrong company. They demanded Netflix ban a show that is on Amazon Prime.
Idiots.
Yeah, and they're also angry that God's voiced by Frances McDormand.
But with that said, it's time for the real shit, the realest of shit.
Oh yes.
So, good shades, play us in.
Ladies and gentlemen, the bar is open. It's time for Mildred the Monk's Geek of the Week.
Okay, I'd like to open this up with a little ditty.
Oh yes. Yes.
Everybody get up and dance.
Got.
Okay.
So,
and you know why we're all playing this song, right?
So here now let me set the stage. So I know that I teased that we were going to cover her infamous article in Wired. But a lot of things can happen in 7 days. The shit posting business moves very, very quickly.
Yes.
Yes.
So I did not count on her going bankrupt, and because of that, giving her the main event spot felt uncouth.
Very.
Yes, I can use big words too.
I would personally, I would have just pissed on the grave and just went ahead anyway. But still, she deserves this.
Oh, definitely. Now, never mind the fact that she shamelessly tried to weasel in on the development of Cyberpunk 2077. It has been brought to the attention regarding the 2017 financials, where they had an opening balance of $343.7 thousand. They totaled $254.7 in revenue back in 2017, and an operating revenue of $438.1. They ended the year with a balance of $149,711 in 2017. Not bad. But carrying that
Yeah.
into 2018 did
Last
not work
year.
out. They opened 2018 with 157.4, and they totaled 2018 with a revenue intake of 354.5, but had an initial and operating cost of 323.5, thus ending the year with 30,967.
Congratulations. You played yourself.
What did you spend all that money on, Anita? Box wine and pints of ice cream?
Maybe a
Yes.
couple cats.
So
Yeah,
they
that
opened
too.
they opened 20,
And
28
Tropica Sailor Moon items? Jesus.
So they opened 2018 down barely 20%, which is still a hit, but nothing that could kill a nonprofit.
Yeah.
But even with that, I'm pretty sure the writing was going to be on the wall with that kind of a hit, that there's no way that they could recover from it.
Oh yeah.
Now, I haven't seen the video that Brad Glasgow did on the finances, but there was also the fact that she laid off a bunch of her staff, and what didn't she have some of her staffers bitching at her for not paying?
Oh boy.
I do recall hearing something about that.
Yeah, and somebody else did the same thing. A little someone by the name of, I don't know, Blowy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and the thing
Seems to
is,
be a
for
running
the
theme, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's a pattern going on here.
And which is why I thought it was very strange that we saw that lengthy ass article from Polygon on the 19th that was trying so hard to talk about how awesome she was, and was written kind of a
Trying to
moratorium
proper-
fashion.
Yeah, they're trying to prop. Yeah, they're basically trying to proper. Yeah, they're trying to prop her up, but it turned out that article was a fucking eulogy.
Yeah,
I was just about to say, were they kind enough to write Queen Anita a eulogy? Aw.
They did.
How delightful of them.
Yeah, they wrote Saint Anita her fucking eulogy on Polygon. Although it wasn't written as a eulogy, but now knowing what we know, it might as well be one.
although
Mhm.
I do have to wonder how the hell do you go from a 6-figure big business to only having 30,000? But then again, we probably
Well,
wouldn't have known about it
misappropriating
if she decided to try and if it weren't for the fact that she thought it'd be a brilliant idea to present herself as a 501c3.
Oops.
Oh, poor Anita. You scammed, lied,
While
harassed, and
thusly
extorted
breaking
yourself
the
to the top.
rules, while thusly breaking a lot of the rules that 501c3s have to abide by.
Again, she truly does deserve to be a saint on the altar of NPC. You lied, you harassed, you cheated, you extorted, and essentially threatened your way
So
into infamy.
Yeah, and
But
her
you-
last.
So she's female Eddie Guerrero if
No,
Eddie was infamous.
No.
Don't drag
But at
Eddie
the
into
end of
this.
the day, Anita,
Don't
At the
ever
end of the day-
equate him to. At least Eddie Guerrero was A, honest about it, and B, was at least had a fun time with it, and C, targeted a bunch of jagoffs.
Actually,
Also,
better comparison. She's the female equivalent to Vince.
okay, I'll go with comparing her to Vinnie Rue. But
well, let's be honest real quick. The reason Anita deserves to be a saint on the altar of SJW is because despite all of this, Anita, you forgot that Twitter is not the legal system and the court of public opinion is not the judicial system.
Oh yeah,
And it came back to bite you in the ass because your ego, how close to the sun it flew.
yeah.
And I've enjoyed watching it fall.
Woke Mercury. Woke Mercury.
Mm-hmm. Woke Icarus.
Woke Icarus. Sorry.
although I do love that the first comment is just the Pocahontas gift going by, bitch.
Bye, bitch.
And
Bye.
also this one comment from Easy Gorilla. So it's time for Anita to learn to code.
But knowing how things are, and because apparently God hates us, she'll somehow be back. I just know it.
I guarantee that she'll be back, but I do love the what I find very amusing is the fact that she tried to argue that she needs to move on from doing YouTube stuff, that it's not getting enough attention anymore.
Well, the thing is, she's been flouting on that shit since she kicked Mick and Josh to the curb. And the funny thing is,
DC Comics.
and the funny thing is, Mick and Josh is actually doing better than her right now. He's still annoying.
I don't care for Mick and Josh, but yeah, it's still the case. And yeah, everybody's playing the sad violin. No, there is no simpy in this house.
No fucking simpy.
And you know what? This isn't a drink. This is a cheers.
Yes.
Cheers. Again, there's just so much good news on this stream. I feel out of place.
Oh, there's a comment on there that pretty much proves my point that this isn't the last we're going to see of Anita.
Oh, I guarantee that she's going to be back in some form, and I also guarantee that whatever company decides to hire her as a consultant isn't going to be making money.
Exactly.
No, I don't know.
In fact, they'd be bleeding money rather than making it.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see here. There's a comment on there by Latino Heat. Oddly enough, since we were talking about Eddie a minute ago, it basically says it's not over yet. She'll pull a literally who and stick her huge nose into politics. Get ready for the Soros-funded marches hosted by brave political activists.
Oh no!
You what? I agree. I bet you Soros or the fucking Koch brothers are gonna fund her in the future. You watch. It's gonna happen.
Please, no.
I think it's gonna happen because, again, God hates us.
Yes. Zeus hates us.
I swear to God, if Anita Sarkeesian becomes the next fucking Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I'm going to fucking lose my proverbial shit.
Yeah,
watch it.
And I'm screaming in agony as someone who likes.
Yeah,
well,
yeah. Kate,
remember, she already had a chance to speak to the UN.
Yep.
If AOC can win a Congress seat, tell me Anita Sarkeesian couldn't.
She can't win a Congress seat here in this country, though. She's Canadian.
Yeah, she's Canadian. That disqualifies her.
Yeah, but watch. She'll find a way to get her ass into politics. And knowing who she is, and knowing the type of crowd that would vote for someone like her being Canadian actually makes it even more probable.
Oh yeah.
But that is
politics.
That is a story for the future.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it does happen, then remember, you heard it here first.
Now it's time for Marvel's big disappointment that also was beneficial because it gave us some glorious salt. So Marvel had been teasing that something big was going to be coming for the Spider-Man comic.
Yeah. Yeah, nepotism.
And all that it was JJ and Henry Abrams working on a Spider-Man comic.
Drink for nepotism.
Yep, drink for nepotism and drink for horribly named villain.
Oh yeah.
Cadaverous.
Really?
Cadaverous? What?
What in the blue hell are you thinking? Have
This
you
is
been
the neighborhood
taking too many microdrops?
Hang on. This is the Neighborhood Watch Committee reminding you that necrophilia is still illegal. Thank you and have a pleasant day.
Yeah, I think father and son's been sharing too much peyote.
Now, I'm not going to rip. Now, first off, I can't help but notice that the cover has fucking lens flares, and also that the
Even in fucking celluloid, there's lens flare.
Now, one thing that I do want to point out. When John Romita Jr. had broken into the comic industry, he got a lot of shit because a lot of people thought that the only reason he got his position was because of his father. Then he started putting out stuff that was actually good, and people shut up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, what I do find funny about this whole thing, and I didn't really think about this until Mika Curtis had brought it up, is the same people who are yelling at these two over nepotism, which is deserved at this point because I don't think he's proven himself. And to be honest, if this was the case where this kid had been working on some small scale things first, I don't think there would have been as much of a fuss.
Yeah,
but
really.
The same people who are yelling nepotism at this are the people who thought giving Ironheart to a woman who had no comic book experience and only said she liked Ironheart because the character looked like her, and giving Captain America to somebody who
fucking insertion.
Now,
No, that's not self-insertion. That's relatability and just
no. Now to be fair, the rebooted version of Ironheart is actually decent. It's not a terrible book. It can get a little bit wordy at times, but I didn't see too much in the way of wokeness. But on the other hand, these are also the same people that vigorously defended a man by the name of Ta-Nehisi Coates, who before he was working on comics had mostly just done political hit pieces.
Oh boy!
Oh,
yeah, really.
God.
And never mind the fact that I have tried to read some of his runs on Black Panther and Captain America. The problem is he is writing to an audience of one. He is not writing in a way that people would actually want to read it.
Nobody can translate his temper. Yeah, you can't translate a temper tantrum.
Well, I know everybody's done this at some point in time, so you'll know what I'm about to say. The way Ta-Nehisi Coates writes, have you ever sit there and seen something that pisses you off, but you don't actually want to speak out about it, so you have a little dialogue in your head? That's how he writes. It's painful.
It's that little bitchy voice in his head.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he even has an inner monologue, but that's a topic of conversation for another day.
Oh yeah.
He has an inner monologue with him and his 5 friends. It's the only people who can talk with him for more than 3 minutes without wanting to kill him. But moving on from that, it's now before I get into what's coming next, I want to talk about a little post that Geek and Sundry made that for whatever reason,
Geek and Sundry drink.
Yeah, this is definitely a drink moment, but I wanted to share a particular post that they had made that for whatever reason pissed me off.
Oh boy.
Drink for Geek and Sundry.
Yeah.
Now let me see if I can.
And I've seen this post.
If Mildred has to lead into this with saying, for some reason this pissed me off, I have a feeling I'm going to need a lot more than just one drink for this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What you're seeing in front of you is a screen cap. And this is a fairly innocuous looking tweet. But like I said, this annoyed me. And I think maybe some of you can help me figure out why this annoyed me. But if I had to hedge my bets, it's because it's going on this notion that playing something other than Dungeons and Dragons is this monumental, groundbreaking, going against the norm.
It's elitist.
Yeah, Yeah, I think the only thing that pisses you off is number one, it's Geek and Sundry. They suck. They're a bunch of fucking perpetrators. And number two, they think that tabletop gaming begins and ends with D&D and maybe Pathfinder as well.
Well, again, it's this mentality, especially coming from Geek and Sundry of all people. If it wasn't them and it was just some random jack-off on Twitter, it probably wouldn't piss you off as much. But coming from these pricks, it's that hipster elitist mentality. It's the reason Big Bang Theory pisses me off. It's like, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's the joiner quotient.
Yeah, you're the same fucking hipster elitist pricks that sat there and made fun of people for playing Dungeons and Dragons back when you were in fucking high school. And now that it's the cool thing to do, now all of a sudden you think you're the cool kids on the block again, and you're mocking everybody
How
that's
do you
been doing the
do,
same
fellow
shit.
kids?
Yeah, and not
exactly.
only that, you go into that shit and then kick everybody out.
Yeah, it's
That's
because,
what even pisses me off even more.
yeah,
Yes.
it's not only the hipster elitist bullshit, but it's the fact that you're trying to gatekeep now that you think you're the cool kids on the block again. No, fuck you. Like, what's the first, I could ask you the same fucking question, Geeks and Sundry. What's the first RPG you played that wasn't Dungeons and Dragons? I don't know. Name one that isn't Pathfinder? Like, fuck off.
I swear to God, every fucking I swear to God, every fucking RPG table they need fucking ejector seats installed, because if any of these assholes come on that table, you know what? I'd be like Tyrese to be like, ejecto seato, cuz.
You know what?
I don't need an ejector seat, because I have something that works just as well. It's called the pane glass.
Oh
Yeah.
The pane glass?
Yes.
Meldra, explain.
You know what? I wish I wasn't permabanned from Twitter, just because I would respond to this tweet and say, I'm currently playing a Vampire the Masquerade campaign with a few friends of mine. And knowing how the NPCs feel about that, I would get a bunch of autistic screeching for it.
Oh yeah.
Just say that all those autistic screechers are probably people who think that Clan Malkavian is the best clan.
Yeah.
You don't need to lie to yourselves. The best clan is and always will be Ventru.
But yeah, mind explaining the pane glass for Aaron?
It is a shot glass filled with salt, pepper, lemon juice, lime juice, little dash of vinegar, and 3 or 4 different hot sauces.
Is habanero one of them?
Usually I'll just put in Tabasco, Frank's, Tiger, and maybe some random local one that I find. If I do habanero, that's going to be overkill.
Do it. Fuck it. Go the full 9 when it comes to that shit.
The point of the glass is to cause pain, not kill them.
Yeah. That's like putting capsaicin in the glass.
Or better yet, you know what? Put a little kaopectate in it.
But moving on from that was a lead into something that was a bit of a lead in, because I finally have confirmation of something that I had suspected regarding the management of D&D the last few years.
Oh boy.
So apparently one of the designers convinced staff to use Tumblr blogs as a resource.
Drink!
Oh my god.
Specifically a Tumblr blog called Writing with Color.
Oh.
What? Don't drink!
We're going to have to rise, aren't we?
You know what? Fuck it. Everyone, rise.
Let's go.
Yep.
Let me get this thing set up. Whoops. It scrolled. It did the auto scroll at the bottom. Sorry.
School!
School!
hole.
Indeed.
Sound the yellow horn.
If I get the chance
the court of
to
public opinion.
commission some new artwork, I seriously want to commission the monk art of him blowing the biggest drinking horn he can find. Especially since it's not the first time I've used that meme, because anybody remember the feasting horn in those Snickers ads?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
love those
That
commercials.
became such a meme where I'd go up to a friend's house and just yell, "Feast!" But
Oh boy.
what
What flavor of shit show is this gonna be?
just out of curiosity, let's take a look at this writing with color Tumblr, just so we can see what
Septic
we're.
sepia. That's what flavor it's gonna be.
Oh, God.
We are dedicated to writing and resources centered on racial and ethnic diversity.
Drink.
Drink.
Ah.
And the first post I see is about beauty standards, and I immediately go, "Okay, we're done here."
Oh
Into the
yeah.
trash it goes.
Nope. 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 Let's see here. Deep down, there's no such thing as a native name. What exactly
What?
is a native
what?
name?
Here's the thing. There's no such thing. Literally.
Fucking drink
Except
for that.
here's a bigger
Yeah, that's
question:
true.
who even asks about that?
Exactly.
You're
No one.
trying to fix a problem that doesn't exist.
Yeah. You're searching for problems
Yeah, but I
that don't exist, so
I
stop.
this
I got a native name for you. Zir who sits on a nail.
pretty much.
Also, I wasn't realizing the Spanish Inquisition made a comeback.
Oh,
Our chief weapon is surprise, and fear. Our two weapons are fear, surprise, and ruthless efficiency. Our three weapons are fear, surprise, ruthless efficiency, and almost fanatical devotion to the Pope. Our four weapons are fear, surprise, ruthless efficiency, a fanatical devotion to the Pope, and a knife red uniform. Oh damn! Yep. But the thing with this particular blog.
what about the comfy chair?
This particular blog is that it's written in what Jason Sarton called not English, where you have to
Drink. Fucking drink.
Not English, huh?
English.
well Jason
So it's not Cockney, huh?
well here's what he meant by that, because I first came across this term in Jason Sarton and Darren McLennan's very, very hilarious review of Fatal, which I have considered at some point doing a live reading of.
Now, I've heard of English, but not English?
That's what he called it, because now as I've mentioned before, Fatal is unequivocally the worst RPG of all time. The way its text is written has this bizarre kind of grammar and sentence structure where you have to internally set how you read English in order to understand what the hell is going on. That's what he meant by not English. It has nothing to do with Cockney or anything like that, and it's certainly not Welsh. But then again, who the hell understands the Welsh?
Yeah.
No disrespect to the good brothers in Wales, but your language is kind of jank.
Well, I managed to understand Over the Gun pretty well.
Well, you've seen the town names in Wales, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
especially that one that was so long you could probably use it as a measuring stick. You know exactly which one I'm talking about.
Freaking
Oh yeah,
large.
that's been a meme for a while.
But apparently the blog also demands that fiction writers who aren't endemic to a culture they write about need to let go of the idea that they own the story.
What?
Yeah, this
How
was
does that make any sense? Oh wait, it doesn't.
Yeah, these are freaking soy-addled freaks.
I know what you're trying to pull here. You're trying to pull the whole you cannot write about other people's cultures. I don't see you writing.
There's a lot of fucking gibberish here.
As someone who's writing a novel, what they're telling me is I'm not allowed to write about elves, dwarves, orcs, goblins, dragons, giant eagles, or anything that is not a cis heterosexual white male.
And
good to know.
I'm going to state this right now. If you are concerned about what you're not supposed to do or what you're supposed to do when you're GMing in D&D or any other tabletop, you're doing it wrong. Now sit there in your wrongness and be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm reading through all these fucking tweets, and it's like,
I guarantee most of the people there are only streamer gamers, not people who actually play games. When I want a conversation about, do you want to know where I go when I want a conversation about people who are actually playing the games? I go on Giant in the Playground. I go on TG. I go on some of the people on the RPG Bloggers Network. Sometimes if I'm feeling desperate or want to learn what not to do, I'll go on the Forge, or a handful of social media groups that actually do that. There's a few on MeWe, a few on Facebook. There were a bunch on Google Plus. In fact, Google Plus was almost a haven for talking about RPGs. That's how I found out about that unofficial 3rd edition for Star Wars D6.
Yeah. So I'm looking at all of these tweets. It's like, I could probably understand it better if it was in Egyptian hieroglyphics.
And
oh yes,
the thing I'm beginning to understand why Polish
even better. You'd understand it better if it was written in hieroglyphics on papyrus.
Oh yeah.
Now, one thing I want to make clear. I'm beginning to have an understanding of something that Paula Schur said that I slightly disagreed with at the time, but have now developed an understanding of. She said in a TED Talk years ago, "The greatest innovations in the history of mankind were done by people who had no idea what they were doing."
Sounds like some people I know. Can't really put my finger on it.
The intent of what she was trying to say is that if you focus on what you're supposed to, what you're quote unquote supposed to be doing, then you're not going to get anywhere.
So basically, don't do what this writing with color blog is trying to advocate for.
And
good to know.
Since I finished a rough draft of Project Gaia, I might put that up on the Monastery Discord for a bit.
And hey, you know what you do? Take the piss out of these guys every opportunity you can, and I think you're guaranteed success.
The thing is, when I was writing Project Gaia, I had two things in mind. I wanted to do my own spin on several fantasy tropes, not for the purpose of subverting expectations, but more of I wanted to take this one thing and do it my way. The other thing is, I was using 13th Age's age-based passage of time and its icon system as a structure. Everything just kind of expanded from there. I did a fair bit of research on things, but I wasn't researching any of these kind of people except on the things that you don't do.
Right. The do's and
Well, and
don'ts.
this is the other thing about you know, people who like to complain about like, oh, this is a trope or this is cliched or this or that. South Park said it best. Simpsons did it. There's no such thing as an original idea. What you can do, however, is put your own unique spin and your own unique flavor to it, and take those tropes and cliches and apply them to a way that makes sense to your story. That doesn't inherently make it bad. But if you just use the trope or cliche for the sake of using a trope or cliche, because reasons, that's lazy. If you're not
Very
lazy about
lazy.
it, it's good.
Yeah.
Like again, it has to be relevant to the story, it has to make sense for the characters. If it's trope or cliched, it doesn't matter. As long as it's creative and it makes sense. Just don't be lazy. That's the only sin you can have as someone who is a writer or creator. Don't be fucking lazy.
No.
Don't be Dan
Right.
and Dave.
Yeah.
One thing I do have to address in the comments. We have Siberian saying wingdings. That would make more sense. And Comic Sans.
Oh,
let's
yeah.
not, Leos, let's not
Yeah.
bring Comic Sans into this. Comic Sans ruins everything.
We don't talk about Comic
You
Sans.
don't talk about Comic Sans.
Besides, my head's starting to hurt. Let's move on.
Yep. So next we have to put a F. We have to put an F in the chat, everybody, for Vertigo Comics.
Oh, I'm putting a very happy F in the chat for this one.
Fuck that.
Yes.
S. Fuck the F.
Yeah.
So Vertigo Comics has shut down and they're reorganizing. And I do find it kind of funny that this happens shortly after they brought in a bunch of woke folk.
Yeah, especially Blowy.
Yeah, include who I did not read Zoe Quinn's comic. I saw how garish looking the cover was like, and I was like, I do not need any more eye pain than I already have.
Nope.
Let's see. What illustrious titles did they decide to relaunch Vertigo with? Safe Sex, Border Town, Goddess Mode, Hex Wives. Yeah, I think you can see where we're going with this one.
Yeah. Drink for stupid titles.
Yeah, that's what they went with.
Now, of course, now Dan DiDio
That was
and
a
Jim
bold
Lee are,
strategy, Vertigo, and it didn't pay off.
Now, Dan DiDio and Jim Lee are saying this is about making a more united DC.
Bullshit.
Yeah, and that the kind of material that Vertigo had is mainstream across all genres. So yeah, I doubt it.
Gee, if that was what you guys were going for, you wanted to be edgy and have maybe some dark titles and everything, but you wanted to be all mainstream and all inclusive. Why did you only pander to the one group of individuals who don't fucking support capitalism or buy your shit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no shit.
Idiots.
Commies don't buy shit. They just go to.
Let's go over some of the crimes of this Vertigo relaunch. We had the whole thing with Robert Rodriguez texting unsolicited anus pics.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
and he did that shit to EVS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have
diversity in comics, I believe.
We have Zoe Quinn being Zoe Quinn because no one else wanted to.
Blowy being blowy.
Yeah, Blowy being blowy.
We had Raymond Villalobos. The hell?
Villalobos.
Yeah, Ramon.
Deciding to be a racist. Rob Sheridan going Orange Man bad.
Of course.
Richard Pace saying that business should be denied to people he considers fascists, and which is a very fascist thing to say. And we have Eric Esquivel being a fucking idiot.
Yeah, he would be accused of sexual misconduct. Reset the clock.
Yep.
Here's your lineup, ladies and gentlemen.
And most of these titles couldn't break 10K by their second issue.
Oh boy.
Now apparently they're structuring it. They're doing an age-based restructuring now, which seems to be a case of rearranging deck chairs.
This is stupid.
I can
Yeah,
see.
if
I
I
can
read-
see
This is
what.
dumb.
Well, real quick, I've been a long time comic fan, and I seem to recall that Vertigo was supposed to be the division of DC that makes comics that are geared towards a mature audience.
Well, I think the other thing was for comics that can be under the DC brand, but not necessarily associated with the comic universe.
Well, here's the thing. Mature and woke are not interchangeable.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. Touching on controversial subjects has always been the realm of things like Image, Vertigo, etc. Like, I mean, look at Watchmen or Preacher. Those are not exactly your mainstream comic books you're going to pick up at the grocery store, back when grocery stores still sold comics.
Yep.
Now, that's not really an excuse for Vertigo to fail. What DC's not admitting here is the fact that you pandered to a subculture that is not only so tired and worn out, but is also not exactly popular amongst people with a functioning brain.
And not only that,
Exactly.
like I said, most of these motherfuckers deserve to be in fucking nut houses.
Yeah, most of them don't read. Pretty sure they're spending most of their time protesting or attending parades for some esoteric reason.
They're resisting capitalism by buying a Starbucks.
Yeah, or destroying fucking garbage cans.
We need communism. Capitalism is evil. Go buy my Antifa knife.
Oh, speaking of trash, let's talk about this little opening shot incident with this survey. So because trying to link us to Russian bots, and I do apologize for using a the only thing I will apologize for the last time we talked about this was using a Ukrainian joke in a Russian bot story. That's the only apology I'll make. Because I used the wrong nation. I will make sure to order the biggest bowl of borscht I can find.
Yep.
To the gulag with you.
So, anyway, there was a study that was promoted by Screen Rant that tries to find a link between political attitudes and opinions towards Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Now, putting aside the fact that, as Churchill pointed out, statistics is one of the 3 big lies, they had put... This was as part of an article that says, political beliefs may explain why fans don't like The Last Jedi.
Wrong. You're wrong.
Bullshit.
Wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh shit! Here we go again.
So it goes on to say, quote, "I'm not here to litigate the gender politics in the Star Wars movies. My focus in this part is the
fucking lie, drink for lies.
Lies.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Keep your pants on.
Oh, no.
Is on the empirical psychological relationship between favorability towards Star Wars films and sexist attitudes. This is bad science.
This is very bad.
Double
This
lie.
is junk fucking science. Drink for junk science.
Drink for
Double
junk
lie.
science.
2 drinks for lies, 1 drink for junk science. Let me guess. This is probably written by somebody who got their master's degree from a fucking 3-letter college with $60,000 worth of debt, and that degree was in fucking gender studies with a minor in statistics.
Because I also look at the closely related concepts of political correctness and political identification. I focus on the survey's questions of hostile sexism, benevolent sexism, PC beliefs, and political identification. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Rise!
6, 7. Yep, rise. Oh, God.
Oh, this is Oh my god. Wow, I'm glad I bought beer. Yeah, Rise. Skull!
School indeed.
Skull! Fucking skull!
God damn.
Wow. Oh!
What kind of foolishness is this? Ugh.
This is the most NPC fucking biased bullshit I've heard in quite some time.
Bias.exe already open.
File is running. File already downloaded.
Yes.
Yeah,
Run program at startup.
Let's see. He says
Yeah.
these concepts are all related to one another. If we see a relationship
Yeah.
between how conservative someone is and their attitudes toward the Last Jedi, then how do we
drink.
how do we know it isn't?
Drink.
one
What
of
does
the
this have to
other
do with anything?
This is
Drink.
What
We
does this
gotta
have to
drink
do
the
with the
Last
price of
Jedi.
tea in China?
This is not how surveys are supposed to work. This is
literally
this
a
is
survey
bait. This is
looking-
bait, and everybody more or less knew it.
Yeah,
This is literally a survey that is looking to confirm confirmation bias. Like,
Yeah, the thing here is it's giving them the exact results they wanted. So my theory is they probably sexed up the damn results.
Probably.
Yep.
This is basically like they have a better
You know what?
let's just put it this way.
Go ahead.
What's next? Are they gonna run this same algorithm to determine if Iran's got fucking nuclear weapons? Idiots.
I can sum up this survey in a very simple way. This is literally a group of individuals saying, hey guys, this is our premise. We're going to go survey a bunch of people to try to confirm that our premise is correct. But we're only going to interview marginalized people who are registered Democrats and who voted for Hillary Clinton. None of those dirty Sanders supporters.
Now,
Nah,
apparently the charts are split into three colors of red, blue, and green. Between prequel skeptics, saga lovers, and TLJ disowners.
Really?
Really?
Just oh my god, why?
Really?
Just stop.
Not to
Just
mention
fucking stop.
Stop.
You destroyed the fandom. Is that not good enough for you? You accomplished your mission.
To stop.
Just why would you even split your results that way? Like, what the? Why?
They're not
Explain
sane.
to me.
That's why not. That's why.
Yep.
They're not sane.
Leos is crying in despair that his record of getting the stream to drink be broken. But then something interesting happened a couple days later. So 3 days later, one of the Star Wars authors, Claudia Gray, disowned the entire survey.
Good.
Disavowed the whole thing.
Oh gee, this is my shocked face. Can
So-
you imagine?
She's
Oh,
written
you
a handful.
found it.
Claudia Gray has written a handful of Star Wars novels, including Journey to Star Wars: The Force Awakens, Lost Stars, Bloodline, Master and Apprentice, and Leia, Princess of Alderaan. As
Yeah,
well
she's
as-
got that.
Handful might be a bit of an understatement.
She looks like looks like that. She has that I want to see your manager face, but you know what? It seems she hasn't gotten full fucking insane.
Yeah, she's also
And
written
Yeah.
her
she's
own
also
fantasy
done
series.
She's also done quite a bit of work in the Star Wars universe, and as Mildred said, some of her own work as well. To say she's written a handful of Star Wars novels is a
Understatement.
bit of an underhanded attempt to discredit her clout when it comes to her comment.
My
Right.
bad.
And the funny thing is, she's getting her clout diminished by a bunch of clout chasers. So what does that say?
Yep. Now she had promoted that survey back in May. But although apparently apparently it's been pointed out that survey had a sample size of 5,000 people, with 27% of the respondents being Twitter users, anonymous Twitter users.
Imagine my shock.
Yep.
Hey guys, I'll preface. Normally, using social media to try to pull a group of individuals for a survey is not necessarily a bad idea. The bad idea is using a social media platform that decides to ban everybody for fucking wrongthink.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, I'll use Geeks and Gamers as an example. I'm pretty sure Anna, that Star Wars girl, Jeremy, Odin's movie blog, and Mindless Entertainment all don't hold the same political opinions or beliefs.
Oh, they
but
don't.
They're
They
all
don't.
Star Wars fans. Seems to be a rather decent sample size of the Star Wars fandom. Game of Thrones would be another equally decent sample size to look at when you look at all the YouTubers who make videos about Game of Thrones. Maybe we just don't like your shit writing and your lazy, heavy-handed, politically driven bullshit. Which is exactly what the survey is trying to confirm. It's only alt-right neo-Nazis that hate The Last Jedi. No, it's Star Wars fans that hate The Last Jedi. Political opinion has nothing to do with it. You're just garbage at your job.
Exactly.
There's my little rant. Oh, by the way, drink, because...
Then things get interesting. So then we end up getting a post that's ostensibly from Claudia Gray, but is actually her assistant, Sarah. Saying, "This is Sarah, Claudia's assistant. I take care of her Twitter account for her. I was the one who posted the survey. I thought the poll was coming from a legit source, though I did not take the survey before posting. I did not do my due diligence on this matter, and I am so sorry. I will work hard.
Whoops!
I will work harder going forward to make sure the items we are posting come from legitimate sources, and will do a better job of vetting things in the future. I'm sorry for any anger or pain I may have caused. Claudia does not endorse that survey, and I am fully to blame. Anyone who has met me or worked with me knows that I would do anything for Claudia's fans. I'm heartbroken that I disappointed them and promise to learn from this mistake."
Oh, I wish fucking Shades was here so he can Dave her.
No,
you know what? And
I don't think this
shit,
qualifies
though,
as a Dave. I don't think this
No,
qualifies
it's not
as
a Dave. It's not a Dave, and holy shit, I have to say, you know what? I tip my hat to you. Thank you for taking accountability, responsibility, and openly admitting it and not trying to double down and blame every other ism for your own fuck up. Wow, that is refreshing.
I'm gonna take another approach here. She's only doing it because Claudia fucking was throwing furniture at her.
Likely.
Either way, I don't care, as it's still in the public square now. And at least sets a decent example that, hey, guess what? When you fuck up, take responsibility for it. Move the fuck on. Stop trying to double down on this shit. It still sets a decent example.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I still think that she didn't want to suffer any more of Claudia's wrath even further. So either way, it's a win.
Yep.
Yeah. Again, it's a win, and I'll take it as a win, and I will drink to that.
Yeah.
Especially when
it's
you
still refreshing.
Just contrast this with the stuff that Ryan Johnson has said, or the stuff that Ron Howard had said about trolling, blaming the box office failure of Solo, or Paul Kemp saying certain fans were detestable, or Chuck Wendig being Chuck Wendig.
Of course.
Let's not forget Mark Wade.
Oh yeah. How's that lawsuit coming along, buddy?
Yeah, no, this is an example of how...
In the distance, you hear repeated gunshots.
What gunshots?
This is an example of how somebody acts professional.
Remember when his lawyer couldn't stop shooting himself in the foot?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Also, the whole Kick Vic thing. All of these people. This is how you should act in a professional environment, especially on social media, where your words are the only thing that you have to build your merit and credibility. This is how you should act.
Yeah, but
not
everyone
like
else
how
is
you've
like
been doing
digging
for
the
past 4 years.
Digging the hole because fuck it, we'll go scorched earth.
You know what? Let's take a bet. How much do you want to bet that the 100100101 crowd is going to look at this and lose their proverbial collective groupthink shit?
Oh, they're gonna go full on meltdown mode.
I'll bet you $5 right now.
Oh, definitely. But now it's time for us to talk about Netflix Genesis Evangelion.
Oh,
here we go.
Oh,
they
God.
really fucked up
now,
on Evangelion.
Full disclosure,
Mildred, real quick, I just want to point something out. Remember back when Comicsgate was really starting to kick off, and I said, you know what, the second they burn it to the ground, the next thing they're going to come for is going to be anime. And look at what the fuck happened.
Yeah, although
the Kick Vic thing, and now this shit.
I'm going to level with you and do one of my monastic predictions, which I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I think I've had a pretty good track record when it comes to my predictions. So here's the prediction that I made when the lawsuit first started happening. You're going to see Funimation pull a bog standard, deny everything, and is probably going to be the first to settle. Although because of the fact that they have to produce that investigation and how many people were investigating, maybe I may have been only slightly off mark on that. But here's the other thing. I predicted several months ago that Kick Vic was going to start swallowing its own tail. Mostly because when you have a lot of people who you're in on the group is how victim you can be. There's always going to be a need to be more and more of a victim, and eventually that Jenga tower is going to collapse. And
so you think they're going to turn on each other? You think they're going to go Ouroboros?
Yes. I think they're already given some of the forum stuff and some of the times that I've looked on poll, I think they're already starting to do that because they've been going more and more crazy to the point where people who had previously considered themselves part of that movement just decided to leave because you all are a bunch of crazies. I do think that the one person who is going to be suffering the largest amount of abuse from the courts is going to be Soye.
Oh, definitely, he's going to be the fall guy. Watch, he's going to be the fucking fall guy.
If it ends up with Soye getting thrown under the bus for everything, no simpy. If that doesn't, but here, although even that may not happen the way I suspect it will, because the other parties still have to answer for a bunch of comments that they made. So
yeah, fucking
enjoy being fucked, and there is nothing I like more than seeing someone hoisted by their own petard.
Yeah, I think.
And before anyone jumps on me and saying, "Are you one of those stands? Which side are you on?" I've always been on my side and nobody else's this entire damn time. I do what I want. I go where I want. That being said, this is the way it's going to happen, and I legitimately hope it sets a precedent, especially since they've been trying to make attempts to go after anime, and so far the only real victory they have is Reiki Kawahara.
Yeah, and that was like a what? Huh?
Yeah, and I guess you could call that a victory, but it's
it's more like a token victory, because she's a participation
trophy.
She's a ham and egger.
Reiki Kawahara is a lolcow.
Yes.
He is the guy behind Sword.
The man who doesn't know how to write women, nor does he know how to write his main character.
before we jump into this too much, let's look at the entire NPC flock that has tried to infiltrate anime, and let's actually look at what they've managed to do. Well, they've managed to get Funimation sued. They've managed to completely turn Monica Rial and her little cabal of idiots into one of the most hated groups of people on the internet, in the same vein as Anita Blowy and fucking Brianna Hu.
Yeah, really.
And they also managed to make Goblin Slayer and A Rise of the Shield Hero the two most popular animes of their season, while at the same time now trying to go after, pun intended, Attack on Titan, because fascism. And I guarantee you that anime's rating is going to go up now just because of that one reason. Because the third season came out so fucking late, most people forgot about it, myself included. Well, guess who's watching it again? Good job, guys.
Yes, like I said, they pretty much shot themselves in the foot. And not only that, it's also opened a whole litany of legal precedents, possibly.
And now we have Evangelion.
Yep.
Netflix,
now
Genesis Evangelion.
Now, first off, let me point out the irony in that during Pride Month they end up undoing a canon gay relationship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The whole thing with Kaoru and Shinji.
Yeah, which I know some people are saying that that's nothing but a ship. No, outright happened in the manga, and it was very, very evident in the original dub of the anime. Now I understand that there's been some legal limbo regarding the original ADV run, which is the reason why why there hasn't been a proper re-release of that. Although, from what I understand, you can still find the stuff on the net if you are willing to dig deep enough. But even trying to go on the subtitled versions, like I did and like Yellow Flash had done, that also has its problems because somebody fucked up the syncing. And I know this wasn't a net issue because I have very strong net. If I'm having problems, I can guarantee I'm not the only one.
Well, real quick, Mildred, there's something important to point out here. Not only is it a canon gay relationship, but it's a canon relationship that is important to the plotline of the story, but is not inserted to push a political agenda or pander to a token ideology.
What a capital concept.
Yeah, what a novel concept.
It's something that anime has been doing for, I don't know, roughly 3 fucking decades. But no, we gotta change it because it's not there to push or pander political ideology. It's there for the sake of the plot and the narrative. And we just can't have that now, can we?
All right. Also, ADAC, no worries, man. Stay frosty. We'll see you when we see you.
Later.
The other thing that I can't help but notice is, okay, let me get this straight. You're able to keep the original dub cast for the rebuild movies, which have been decent, but you're not able. But Netflix wasn't able to pay them. And furthermore, I sat through about 5 episodes because that's usually my litmus test. You and Cure. No, you cannot say the Deshinta line. You have my rule is always you've got 5 episodes to leave an impression. If you don't, you get dropped. No questions asked, no exceptions. If you in this, when it came to this series, the thing that I couldn't help but notice is not the voice acting is certainly not good. Although it's not the worst I've dealt with because, well, nothing's topping Anime-Ego dubs ever.
Yeah, never.
Or one of these days we should sit you all down and make you watch a Philippine dub of a Toku series.
Oh my word!
Those are terrible.
No disrespect to your country if you're watching this, Homer, but I don't even think you're willing to defend those dubs.
Yeah, pain and misery.
Especially for me, considering don't know.
Yeah, if somebody can find me a full episode of one of those dubs, let me know. Send me the link or whatever I need, and I will make that a 30-minute torture session.
Ugh.
But
No.
but the thing that I noticed with the cast is, even though they're not great here, they're serviceable in some of the other works that they're in, which leads me to one conclusion: bad direction. And that's why I've had this running theory that Netflix does not respect the material that they're adapting unless they're only being the facilitator.
Yeah, unless they're only being the distributor.
Like,
oh shit.
the Ultraman series that's being done, pretty good. Voltron Legendary Defender was pretty good up until about halfway through, and then decided to get stupid.
Oh boy.
Oh, and real quick, Mildred, I just want to point something out because it is a little related but slightly off topic. This is the problem that Netflix, Crunchyroll, Funimation, Rooster Teeth, Hulu, Disney as a whole, pretty much every major entertainment organization has. They could easily go to the fandom and find people that would do much better work for a lot cheaper. Like, you want to do Neon Genesis Evangelion? You could go to the abridged community and find a shit ton of better voice actors and actresses than Funimation could ever possibly pull.
Yeah, but the
It's
problem
not
here is
that difficult, but they don't care to.
Well,
They
part of
don't,
the part of
because
the
here's the
problem
thing, you
is
don't-
that in a large, and this is standard fare with a lot of industries, but it applies here. There is very much a boys' club attitude in that industry.
oh yeah.
Oh, most definitely.
Any creative industry has that problem.
And granted, I do understand it to an extent, but at the same time, sometimes you do need to bring in fresh blood. That's just a fact. And
I mean, I can see where you're coming from when it comes to you want somebody that you know has at least somewhat of a proven track record. You want to, God forbid, hire them based on merit. But there's enough people out there in the community, whether it's writing, doing a bridge series, doing animation. There's tons of talent out there. It's just, again, like we were talking about with the that survey just a bit ago. There's this idea of you have to have the proper right think and not wrong think. So they immediately cut out a massive pool of talent because reason.
well,
And the higher ups in the company are too fucking incompetent or complacent to actually realize it.
little column A and a little column B. And as Game Fan pointed out, yeah, they cut out "Fly Me to the Moon," which I've seen some people make the argument that the reason they did that is because people cut out the opening and ending when binge watching something on Netflix. Except
That's
that
actually not the case.
one, that's not as much of the case as people think, and two, look, even if you couldn't get the original dubbing of it, there was no reason that you couldn't have the current cast sing it. And if it's
Yeah,
about pissing off
technically
the
you can
Sinatra
still-
estate, I don't really think they'd care enough to get mad at you. Like, the only reason that I see that getting cut is pure, like I said, pure incompetence. Which is
also, again, you still have the fair use thing. As long as it's transformative, it's been out long enough that you
But
could
then
use
again,
it.
but then again, if you know what happened with Razor Fist in his last review, I don't think YouTube's gonna give a shit. I mean, I think they don't give a shit how long has it been. They probably, if they deem that it needs to go, it needs to go.
Mhm.
And I would say the same. I'd probably do the same thing for those guys that read Evangelion's property.
Well, it's as Token Gaming Fan said,
Game Fan.
it's a licensing issue. But the original used it. I don't know.
The original used it because it was a cover.
Even with that, the fact of the matter is, they could have either solved this or given an explanation saying it's out of our hands, and people would have understood. But the fact that they decided to go with all that sound and fury, because let's be honest, they've wanted to try and break into the Japanese market, and I guarantee this isn't how you do it. But
No.
I want to take a moment to pull a razor fist myself, because Flutter, as you know, when I talked about this before I went live with the guys over at the Toku Roundup, and I had made a bit of a prediction that within the next few days you were going to see a bunch of try-hard hot takes on
God.
on this thing.
Oh
And
yeah.
lo and behold, what do I see from Yellow Flash? A video covering an article talking about how this is the perfect series for this current year because and then it goes into like
Drake because current year.
Then it goes into 10 paragraphs of Orange Man bad.
Oh boy.
Go right ahead.
It's unfortunate I forgot to buy a bag of Cheetos with my beer.
Aaron, do you have the "fuck you, I was right" button?
Oh yes, I do.
Fuck you, I was right. 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 Fuck you, I was right.
Yep. If I'd imagine that it's not going to be too expensive to find a collection of the ADV dub or even the remastered version of it. Go with that instead. This.
Yeah.
Also, since you brought up Crunchyroll, hey Crunchyroll, what happened to High Guardian Spice? You have been dead quiet on that thing for the past 6 months.
Did they
you
decide to scrap it?
They more than likely did.
Oops.
Which would explain why they haven't said anything about it.
That CalArts garbage isn't going to pay your bills.
Yeah, I think maybe they saw how Thundercats Roar and the She-Ra thing did and decided.
Or Thundercats Snore and Zera did. Oh.
Yeah. And maybe somebody with a brain actually said, we're already kind of in a financial pinch anyways. Maybe it's a good idea that we don't go forward with this, especially considering the state of the community and how, people are kind of tired of your fucking bullshit.
Yeah, like I said, give it another couple months. They're gonna deem anime as the devil along with gaming.
Oh, we're already at that point. But if I don't hear a release date in the next year, I'm concluding that thing dead. Speaking of dead and shameless things, let's talk about NBA 2K19 and the fact that
Boy.
I really feel that I should put, if 2K had fucked up more frequently, I probably would have put them in a soap opera slot.
Yeah.
But 2K19 has apparently been putting ads during load times that you can't skip.
Drink for idiocy.
Well then.
Drink forever is more likely.
That too.
Now, 2K Games is a studio that does not get enough hate for some of their microtransaction shit, especially when it comes to the NBA series.
Mm-hmm.
But people have not been happy about these unskippable ads showing up during load screens. And yeah, it looks like this isn't a one-off thing. And I do think it's kind of funny that this is happening shortly after the game was on a ridiculous discount.
Wow.
But somebody did a video test on the thing. And yeah, look, right in the loading part, they have an ad for an FX series. Maybe the FX series is good, maybe it's shit, but the point is, what the fuck is this doing in my video game?
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't get me. Oh, I know. I've seen this Snowfall. I think it's a good series actually, and it's actually produced by the. It's a show created by the late John Singleton. God rest his soul.
Ah.
Yeah, it's a really good series. I saw the first two seasons of it. It's awesome. But having said that, what the fuck is this ad doing in my game?
Exactly.
I mean, shit. What am I going to do? Start fucking putting ad blocker software in my fucking games?
Look, I'm not saying that you should have. I'm not saying no advertisements in games or something like that. But when it's say a billboard for something off in the background, that's not an issue with me.
No, it isn't.
When it's up in front like this and you can't skip it, why?
Yeah, that's just fleecing at this point.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, Street Fighter V just replaces an ad image with the tips screen, which doesn't get shoved in your face, and mostly they're just promoting Street Fighter related stuff. So,
Yeah.
but never mind the fact that, let's not forget, 2K Games is the same company who, after the whole thing in Belgium happened, they pleaded to their player base to talk to representatives to get the thing overturned.
Oh, poor Zelnick.
Boo-hoo.
And speaking of MTX, I knew there was a reason I wasn't going to be bullish on Gears 5, even though I've been a Gears fan for the longest time. Like,
here we go.
Up until this point, the only Gears of War game that I didn't like was Judgment. And I'm not alone in that. That's apparently that's the one that everybody dislikes. But Gears 5 is putting in MTX shit, even though they did a whole thing where they said we're not doing a season pass. So instead they're doing supply drops.
Oh,
how is that not the same thing?
Oh my god.
Drank for MTX.
Mm-hmm.
Good God, they basically co-tick their game without co-tick being involved.
Yes.
Which is a shame because Gears 4 is actually not a bad game. And Toku's asking why stick with the ADV dub of Evangelion. And I'm sorry, that is not being closed-minded. That is being honest. There is no reason to, because as I mentioned before, you can't even go with the subs on that because the subs are out of sync.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, with all the sound and fury that Netflix had about that attempt, they are getting everything that they deserve. Even so, it's their opinion. Let them stick to it. It is not your job to be the preacher. That's my job. And I don't even do that. I just do it because I like the outfit. But
back in a second.
But here's the damning part. Boost, a new optional purchasable bullshit in Gears 5 that provides accelerated progression for a period of real-world time, e.g. 1 day, 7 days, etc., which offers double multiplayer XP, double character XP and escape and horde, and double speed supply drop progression.
Hey, pay to win.
And after all that time that you weren't going to do the MTX shit, then you do this. And some people are pointing out the woke chick on the cover. That's small potatoes in my view.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you'd think I'd be all over Gears 5. I mean, you're traversing frozen hellholes. I'm perfectly cool with that. But this, no. Looks like Gears 4 is going to be my last one until they fix this shit. And now it's time for one of the ladies that broke the internet. So there's been plenty of fan art already of Nessa, who's going to be in Sword and Shield. And an artist named Najuko had drawn her,
or Whistler X on Twitter.
Yeah, had drawn her with a muted color palette and resulted in a lighter tone.
Oh, this story is so fucking ridiculous.
And then the Rees happened, where people were mad that they didn't get her tone right.
Mildred, don't underplay it, because this is fucking glorious. This shows you just how fucking retarded these idiots are.
And
so
because
they got so mad.
Apparently her having a darker tone equates to her being black, and going with that route as well. And Najuko is clearly not having any of it, because somebody posted a whole think it fixed it for you. Don't lighten darker skinned characters, and Najuko's saying, for any reason, it's prohibited to process the illustration and upload it without permission. Please delete your post now. And her going, actually, I'm in my right because I changed your art in terms of review and criticism and for the purpose of learning. I'm not profiting except for putting in your place.
Oof.
Damn.
No, it gets even worse than that. There were people that were actually tweeting out towards images of this character that didn't have the proper skin tone, quote unquote, to the point where they were even using color palettes and the names of said colors to say how you should draw her, because creativity and transformative artwork is not a thing, I guess.
Yep. And Pochan Art had made a very strong point, saying people asking you to change the skin tone don't know how palettes and lighting works. You don't need to change anything. This piece uses a certain palette to suit the style. Sort of reminds me of Warhol's art prints. If anyone has studied art, you may have come across that name.
And there it is.
Yeah, the whole thing is a pastel-based palette.
Yeah, they know nothing about art.
Although what I find very hilarious about this is that a lot of Japanese artists and a lot of outside artists have been throwing shade back, including one person named Whistler X who drew different versions, including dark skin, light skin and said, "This is my art style, understand?" Then going, "You want it darker? Okay," and made the whole thing completely black. And then the last one was a diving suit that said, "No nudity, total safety."
Oh boy.
And 5, who the fuck is that guy who ruins my heart on Twitter?
Oh, that's funny. It's nice to see at least there's been some pushback.
Oh yes. And there was one other piece that I thought was too perfect not to share. And this is one of those that
Oh, goodness.
I'm pretty sure Maddie would get a kick out of this because of the reference. Let me just share. Let me just share this particular image. And of course, let's not forget the real thing that we're gonna enjoy with Sword and Shield. Scottish Pokemon trainer.
Scottish female Pokemon trainer.
One of the best memes to come out recently.
But I want to share this with you fine folk. And I'm going to put this in the council so you guys can see it too.
Oh God.
Oh.
Somebody's been watching Roddy
Brilliant.
Piper at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yes, WrestleMania.
Yeah. But anybody, if I got a question, any of you follow Patty cosplay?
I think I
don't
might.
because I'm permanently banned off Twitter.
Oh yeah, well, Patty cosplay. I think she looks like a Blasian model, probably like half black, half Japanese. That's my best guess. So don't quote me on that. But hey, I would say basically it's this. She reminds me of this. Think Brittany Venti, except dark skin, not into. It's a lot sweeter and not much and nowhere near of a troll, and looks sexy in cosplay.
Right.
I had no doubts I had no doubts that she would be cosplaying as her, and it's like, oh yeah, she can definitely pull that one off.
Well, I kind of wish I wasn't permanently banned off Twitter.
Yep.
Here's the thing. I remember when Michael did his race change. That actually did cause some controversy.
Oh yeah.
So I see where you're going with, but that's not exactly the best example. Here's the thing. People are looking for, as Umbrella Guy had called it, that current year clap.
Oh yeah, the current year clap.
And just putting it out there, on behalf of myself and the good brothers and good sisters of this holy of temple, we love that Umbrella Guy.
Oh,
I love that umbrella.
But what we don't like is Deanna Troy. The woman more useless than Aqua.
More useless, and gets her origin story retold more times than Captain Marvel gets rebooted.
Yeah, and not only that, yeah, and the funny thing is, apparently, this is one of the people in the world that Michael Winter manages to piss off.
Yeah, so now
also obligatory drink.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
drink for Deanna Troy.
I do want to clear up one bit of confusion. It would be easy to assume that the only reason I'm dunking on Deanna Troy is because she decided to claim that true Star Trek fans don't equal Republicans. No, I've been dunking on Deanna Troy's character since I was regularly watching TNG.
Yeah, she's basically. The problem is they're trying to make it.
Deanna Troy, not Deanna Troy. My mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here's the problem with old Counselor Troy. They try to portray her as more than just eye candy, but sorry, sweetie, you're eye candy. End of.
Yes.
You know, it might have worked if she gave some actual useful advice, and also. Yeah. I want to give her credit for putting female drivers back 10 years.
What happened? She caused like a pileup on the 405 or something?
Have you never heard of the meme of the Counselor Troy School of Driving? The one time that she gets the chance to take control of the Enterprise, crash.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's just so basically you're basically saying she is a lot more competent than Mike Nelson. No. Sorry. Let me rephrase that. So you're saying that Mike Nelson is more competent than she is?
And remember, Mike blew up a few planets.
Yeah, he busted up the Hubble, blew up a few planets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she's trying to argue that Republicans aren't real Star Trek fans, which
No true Scotsman fallacy.
yeah, that's why I had to
Drink.
say are you going to tell me next that I shouldn't be putting sugar in my porridge?
No true Scotsman fallacy.
And
of course,
of
Orange
course
Man
she
Bad.
goes into Orange Man Bad and brings up Brexit. And I'm not going to besmirch her for being outspoken, but being outspoken doesn't give you a pass when you say something stupid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We just regurgitate the same old tired ass Orange Man Bad Brexit bag argument.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. If you don't like it, go take your ass to China. You'll love it there.
I do find it kind of funny that that the kind of gatekeeping that I do, which Shades has lovingly retitled the douchebag test, is somehow heretical. But this sort of gatekeeping is perfectly fine. And look, the thing I remember someone asking me how I can possibly have Republicans and Trump supporters on my streams, and I said, they're here. They know the rules. They know that I'm here to have fun and nothing else. Why should I kick them?
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
It's like this is the reason why I use the kind of the temple motif and the whole thing is that I like the idea. I like the idea of this place being a sanctuary, not in a religious sense, but more of this is a place to get shelter from all the shit that's going on outside of it.
Yeah.
That has been, call me pretentious for doing that kind of thing, but that's the approach that I've gone with establishing.
Think Holy Ground from Highlander.
Yeah, and you do not fight on holy ground, and we saw what happened in the animated version when you try and pick a fight on holy ground. It's like, I'm immortal. What do I have to fear? Pain. And immediately gets hit with a lightning bolt.
Yep.
But
so you do not fight on holy ground.
Yep. So even though we talked about Pondsmith, we're gonna have to bring it up again because Rock Paper Shotguns
they won't decided shut to the fuck up.
Also, Pondsmith, can you direct me to where I can find those glasses? Asking for a friend.
Yeah, really.
No, seriously, I want those shades.
So do I.
Yeah, same here, man.
But he decided to, because there are some people who have legitimately tried to argue that that he is not involved at all with CD Projekt Red, or that stuff like the animals and the like were things that CD Projekt Red had put into the thing that weren't in his book. Even though, as somebody who's gone through almost every edition of Cyberpunk, including the one we don't talk about, and is getting if you want to know why I call the upcoming Cyberpunk Red the third edition of the game, even though there is technically a third edition, well, the green book is a case of we don't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Ever.
Yeah, never happened.
But he tried to argue that they deviated from the 2020 canon horribly with their portrayal of the Voodoo Boys. Even though Pondsmith outright said, as far as the animals, the whole freaking point is that they think of themselves as powerful, dangerous, wild animals. You would think the lady called Sasquatch would have given them a clue, and the original Voodoo Boys were a scathing commentary on cultural appropriation. He loves the idea that real practitioners of voodoo and moved in and took back their turf, and they even got Creole right. And then he goes, 4, who the bleep do you think you are to tell me whether or not my creation was done right or not?
Yeah, really. That's his shit, so... Really?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Walker's response is to try and be smug and say, this can't be racist because imaginary people we made up made the decisions.
Oh, really?
And again, this is the same person who made the most snide view on XCOM Declassified that I ever saw, and had to make every Tip Fedora joke in the goddamn book.
Oh God!
And of course, everybody had blew him the hell out, including Justin Wang, who decided to make a joke of, Pondsmith is going to be so upset when he finds out he's oppressing himself.
What?
And that's a drink.
Welcome back, Doku.
Definitely.
Oh boy. Yeah.
And of course, Walker does a non-apology by saying Matt was right to raise his concerns based on his experience, and he says he also accepts that it was a bad take. You only think it was a bad take because you got called the fuck out.
Yeah, you got caught, idiot. You're apologizing. You got caught. That's what happened.
Oh, yeah.
Hey May. I am reading this, and despite how crazy the comments get, I do read every comment that comes across on the chat and on my videos. So never think that I'm not reading these. But as far as whether or not you should get 2020 or wait until Red, if Bundle of Holding does a cyberpunk themed PDF collection, get that because it's probably going to be less than $30. Otherwise, you might want to wait until Red. Because the thing is, as great as Cyberpunk 2020 is, it's also 20 years old, and the editing and the formatting of the books is kind of something that hasn't
Very
aged well.
Yeah, it's very archaic.
That's not to say it's a bad game. It's just one that's going to need a bit of a cleanup. Now, I do know that a free demo version of Cyberpunk Red is coming out in August. That's why I'm saying it might be a good move to wait, because you're only going to be waiting about a month and a half.
Uh-huh.
So that's my take. And since that preview is going to be free, it'll be a good chance to take a look at it. But
yeah.
And god damn it, it looks like one of the tweets I was going to use as far as the Twitter responses got deleted. But there was one person known as Paris had decided.
I recently followed this guy. He's awesome.
Had decided to respond by saying, "I assume you wrote the asinine article that started all of this." And by the way, thank you, Heimei, for giving the seal of approval for my temple. Because Mike Pondsmith isn't imaginary. He is an African American who created this world and characters of Cyberpunk. So who are you to tell him or myself what to be outraged about? I wish your clickbait was imaginary, and then use the clown face emote.
Oh boy, I think we got a meme sympathizer here. Yeah, and I think on one of his tweets in response, I put on the council. I put this oldie but a goodie meme on there for him. He liked it.
It's like, why have I not heard of this guy, and why am I not subbed to him? I'm gonna fix that later.
Well, I already fixed that. He's on my follow list, definitely.
But next we have the thing that I knew I was when this broke down, I knew that I was going to have to cover it.
Oh,
knew.
yeah.
Let's talk about that interview that Niche Gamer did.
Oh, Brandon Orsili actually gave a proper interview as a game journalist. Be very appreciative towards the developer.
And before we get into that, just as a bit of context, I'm gonna try and see if I can find the interview that VG247 did.
Yeah. Or you could do a compare and contrast.
Yeah. Now I'm not going to show the whole thing, but let me just read off the interview read off the top of the interview.
Guys, I'm being summoned. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
All right.
See you next time. But it goes, an extremely bad interview with Yakuza creator Toshihiro Nagoshi. I've had a few bad interviews, but this particular encounter at E3 2019 made me want to crawl inside my own shoe and die. Well, what's stopping you? Let's start with some...
really. You're doing the world a favor.
Yeah, so he goes on about how hard it is to travel to a convention that most of us would kill to go to.
Yeah, really.
And is complaining about the fact that he had to spend a few hours with this guy. And all that Niche Gamer had said, all that Brandon had said in the interview was saying, I wanted to just comment on your games. We cover lots of very Japanese games, and we're very passionate about the culture. We think because they're very Japanese, and they just don't really try to be anything else, that they are successful. That's what your fans like them so much. Thank you. And first Kirk McKeon decided to claim that his interview was cringe. Then Schreier the Crier comes in and says, "Now that's ethics in game journalism."
Oh, what a bunch of jagoffs. You know what they're pissed about? I'll tell you what they're pissed about. Number one, Brandon Orsili is basically boosting gaming. Like any game journal.
He has outright stated multiple times that his primary goal is to flood the whole thing with awesome games that you will not have enough time to cover all of them. You will not have enough time to get all of them. That has always been his focus, and I'd say it's working.
It's a very successful formula.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the second thing that really pisses off these blue check marks. These guys, they want to be the eyes and ears for the West, for the Japanese developers. They want to be sort of the eyes and ears for the West. They want to be their fucking representative. And what Brian Orsili did was he basically cut in front of them in line, says, "Hey, you should listen to me, not these fucking losers."
And apparently after this, he's gotten a bunch more phone calls. So I'd say a mission success. And also look
good.
Oh, it's fucking 9-Volt. The guy who tried to
jagoff.
I'm sorry 9-Volt, but you lose any possible sympathy when you try to defend the Order 1886.
Yeah, so get out of here before I step on your shell and toss it over a building.
Mm-hmm. And then we have somebody claiming that NG is a reactionary rag that fetishizes a non-existent racist idea of another country's culture and isn't worth the bytes used to house on a server. So,
because he's boosting fucking games, you dumb bitch.
Maybe it's because
I gotta point something out real quick. How ironic! Not that it should be surprising.
This is projected.
All of these frickin' blue checkmark games journalists trying to tell Japanese game developers how they should present their games to Western audiences because culture. Are you a Japanese game developer, or are you some sort of 2-bit hack journalist trying to tell Japanese games developers how to portray Japanese culture?
Yeah, and here comes here comes Brandon Orsili basically saying, "Hey, we think most gamers think your stuff is cool. You don't have to worry about changing." This is what it is. Orsili is getting in the way of their fucking activism.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
And so far, not even one angry gamer can boast this. But Brandon Orselli has really, really stepped on their fucking toes. And you know what? Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's time people stop listening to these hacks.
I've never spoken with Orselli, but I have spoken with Buttermancer a few times, and even though he and I disagree on a lot of things, he is pretty cool. And I have to wonder if one of the other things that pisses off the check marks is that they don't ridiculously advertise the amount of actual diversity that Niche Gamer has in their staff.
Really.
Well, go ahead, Elder.
Mm-hmm. But Brandon had fired back by saying, "Lol, McKirk, Cryer, Drucker, Oral, and so on. The dinosaurs of gaming journalism are so ass blasted over our negotiate interview that they're all sitting together in a circle jerk, farting on each other over it. This is literally gatekeeping, folks. So TLDR, in case you guys can't view their tweets because they probably have most of you blocked, likely. Lots of big names in old games media are hating on us for simply enjoying video games and telling a game dev we enjoy their games. This is why they're dying. My jab at the awful VG 24/7 interview clearly worked. I poked the bee's nest. They likely are all currently talking about it in whatever their new secret chat is. I promise you we will never become as jaded, nasty, and spiteful as these losers. They do not like enthusiast gaming press returning and us growing, becoming successful. They are literally trying to smear us and making us look bad for literally saying, we like your video game. Imagine that. These are games journalists and critics that are browbeating us. Seeing awful, jaded responses from the young journalism crowds is hilarious. Clearly, I have to ask things like, why are there no female protagonists? Will Japan finally address its xenophobia, or whatever? We can't just enjoy a video game and ask gameplay questions. And it's funny that this gets brought up, because Schreier interviewed one of the representatives at CD Projekt Red, and when Quartering did a video on it, I had left a comment saying, I wonder if behind the scenes at CD Projekt Red, they're all drawing straws to see who's gonna have to sit through the interview. It's like, okay, who are we getting interviewed by next? Oh shit, it's Kotaku. 1, 2, 3, not it.
Yeah,
like
it's like
I have no proof that that's what actually happens back there, but it wouldn't surprise me if it did.
Send Pondsmith after fucking Cryer.
But that entire interview, he talks about he ends up talking about crunch culture and the trans issue, and somebody had tweeted to Schreier saying, "Couldn't you focus on the actual gameplay?" And he said, "If you want somebody to talk about how many polygons are in the thing, go somewhere else."
They basically admitted they're not a gaming site.
Yep. And then we have our old punching bag Aura Moom jumping in saying that Niche Gamer was founded as a Gamergator website. You people are still onto that. That movement is dead.
Oh my god!
Here's the thing.
They're Vietnam.
Here's the thing, and that statement sums it up fucking perfectly. They're games journalists, if you can hear my air quotes there.
Journalists.
They're not here to talk about games. They're not actually gamers themselves. I mean, shit, find me one that can get past the Cuphead tutorial. No, the only thing they're here for is to push activism and try to shape a narrative. They're all a bunch of reject CNN, Washington Post, New York Times fucking wannabe. They're not gaming fans. So the second you get an actual fan of gaming who decides to talk about the fucking game and actually interview the fucking developers and not try to push a political narrative, holy crap, it's almost like it doesn't matter if you're a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, or what the fuck ever. You're just a fucking fan of video games. Wow, it seems like the community actually is receptive and appreciates that type of content. If I want to read the Washington Post, I'll go read the Washington Post. I'm here to fucking read about a video game. Fuck off.
Yeah, I swear to God, if Orselli, in my opinion, brings back how gaming journalism used to be, like back around I would say back around the 90s, around the golden age, where it's like there ain't no politics or any of that bullshit in there. Just talk about the fucking games and the gameplay. That's it. If it's shit,
it reminds me of when I used to read Nintendo Power.
Yeah.
I will say this: the only crime that Brandon Orselli does is when he posts the food that his wife makes.
Oh yeah. This isn't Facebook, Brandon.
No, I'm saying I'm bringing that up because God damn it, you have to tease me with food when I'm in the middle of my work.
Yeah, really.
That is cruel and unusual punishment.
Oh, hey there, Matty. Welcome to.
How's it going, boys?
Welcome to.
I hope I'm not too late on taking a shit on EA.
No, we haven't even gotten to that yet. We're talking about the people who tried to take a shit on Niche Gamer and got blown out.
All right, so I'm still in the middle of Geeks. Good.
Yep.
We went a little extra long because
you decided to tackle two long ass movies. That's why.
Well, the extra long ass movie, an hour 40 minutes. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Oops.
Don't look at me. This was your idea.
Easy liked it, but the rest of us, we have issues. That's all I'm going to leave it on.
I'm not going to focus on this, but I'm going to ask you this. When it came to that movie, was the real world thing part of the issue? Because that's what pissed me off.
Yeah. A part of a multi-part reason. Like, long story short, I'm a casual fan, and my watching wrestling does factor into it. If you can't hook me on the first half hour or first part, you lose me. The movie lost me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's a good thing you're here, Maddie, because you're just in time for this shit.
Oh yeah, let's talk about Polygon and the fact that
for Polygon.
Once again, we have the Woken Dead trying to take swipes at Attack on Titan.
Oh fucking
Wait, again?
Yep. Anybody got the San Andreas clip?
By the way, Shades will not be joining us tonight. Tell you how much they for those who don't know, Shades is a big Common Writer double mark or W mark. They done that writer dirty.
Oh, so I bet he's
no.
I think there's a bunch of broken furniture, huh?
Well, his throat is fucked. I'll tell you that much.
Oh,
yeah. Done him dirty with no lube. He screamed his head off.
Yep, there's broken furniture. Oh, damn.
No broken furniture there. Just rage. Just his throat is done for the evening. Let's just put it that way.
Well, that sucks.
If you would hear him, you would completely understand.
I'll take a look when I check the VOD. At the very least, I hope they got a laugh out of that whole "draw me like one of your Common Writer girls."
We did. That so I can assure you of. Yeah.
So once again, Polygon is doing this shit when it comes to Attack on Titan.
Unlike you, I don't waste all these people's time bitching and moaning and bitching 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 and bitching. Are you bitching?
They start off decent with talking about it, but although they fail at the first sentence by saying the modern manga and anime industries would not exist without Attack on Titan.
What?
That's not a doubt. That's a full-on bullshit. Actually, hold on.
Oh, definitely.
Since I'm the designated button man until we're done. Thank you. I was gonna say Iron Sheik here.
Fucking bullshit!
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick around till the first story that let's see, till the story I contributed to this week's particular part, Dookie. I gotta go to bed soon, but
yeah, I'm about to check out, but I want to get around to EA before I start checking out.
All right. So they go, but then they go into some standard fare and then saying, but recent events within the manga have given readers pause. In particular, the major twist of the series, as well as what's been occurring since then, has drawn some uncomfortable parallels to global anti-Semitism, far-right Japanese politics, and Isayama's own personal politics.
Fucking drink.
Yep, that's a drink.
So basically, they're saying, basically, this is sort of like a Japanese politics bad.
Well, this is the incredible bullshit of this article and the premise that it's built upon. Just because you're using something as a plot device, especially something that has historical precedent, and not just one culture, but quite a few, doesn't mean that, it's bad. If you watch this, then you're supporting whatever ism or is that you want to say. No, you're just looking for something to bitch about because you're a fucking 2-bit hack website that can barely draw in enough clicks to stay afloat. And you'll go the way of fucking feminist frequency given enough time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is basically, this is like satanic panic style bullshit right here.
Yep.
And
then
what
they
they're
go
bitching
on
about,
then
in
they
case
go on
you haven't seen, well, real quick, in case you haven't seen the last episode, what they're bitching about is a literal plot device that is central to the plot. Just because it's fucking uncomfortable doesn't make it bad. It's the same kind of shit like how these people got pissed off about Goblin Slayer and Rising of the Shield Hero. Oh my god, it hurt my feelings. I can't take it. Yeah, go fuck off.
Oh, I missed. Oh, did I miss the rant on the Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Yeah, you missed
you missed
Evangelion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fly me to outer space to shoot that dick back in his face.
And here's something that I find very telling, and I'm sorry that I had to skim through a bunch of it, but I want to try and not spoil. But he goes, despite being wowed by Studio Wit's fantastic visuals and undeniably badass first opening theme song, I could never get into Attack on Titan. So you didn't even like the series.
Credibility.
That's honestly, after the first season, same thing. First season, cool. Okay, I choose not to get it afterwards because you're overhyped.
Yeah.
Hype.
That's my honest opinion on the series.
Hype notwithstanding, which isn't a factor in my assessment of things. The fact, here's the difference. You're not writing this article, Maddie.
I don't know if I could be so eloquently worded.
And here's the other thing. What this guy is bitching about is literally the pivotal reveal of the series to let you know why everything is happening the way that it is. It is crucial to the story. Without giving too much away, there's one group of people that hate another group of people, and another group of people that hate another group of people. And they're having a bit of a, several 100-year-long pissing match. It just so happens that the themes used might or might not take some creative influence from a certain period in history where some bad things might have happened, where a certain ethnic group of people might or might not have been discriminated against. It is central to the fucking story.
Oh, yeah.
Just because you're watching it does not mean you support the evil fascisms.
Yeah, and then he goes on about Japanese politics, and for whatever reason also brings up Darling in the Franxx, and brings up some other
fuck
stuff.
Does Darling in the Franxx even play into? Oh wow, that's a reach if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, big reach.
Yeah, drink for the reach.
Oh yeah,
yep.
And
drink for the reach.
And links in article from Women Write About Comics.
That's another drink.
Yeah. Well then, bringing up the Nanjing massacre, which is a case of where are you even going with this? It's like you had a point and then you just completely and utterly lost it.
Oh my god!
That's the problem I've always had with hamster. That's the problem I've always had with these sorts of articles. It's like pick a lane and stay with it. We're tired of seeing you on the road. But
yeah, really.
To bring things up a bit,
as a connoisseur, well, real quick, Milcher, as a connoisseur of SJW stupidity, I can tell you exactly where this came from. Attack on Titan reminds me of something that's bad. Orange Man is bad. This resembles something that we call all supporters.
Fuck's sake.
It came from Japan, therefore let's bring up every bad thing Japan has ever done in its frickin' history, because obviously that's what Attack on Titan represents, and anybody that likes it or supports it is obviously a Nazi. That's the logic here.
Yeah, their logic blows.
Yeah. But speaking of logic, let's laugh at... I think it's time we laugh at Bitchford again.
Oh. Before we do. Oh.
Yep, I knew that was coming.
Fucking Randy Bitchford again.
All right, got it.
Without fail.
Okay. And I missed Anita Sarkeesian going broke too.
Oh yeah, she's done for, but I've got the feeling she'll be backed by fucking Soros money. You know that shit's gonna happen.
Fair enough. Now let's laugh at the asshole.
Yep.
So a former this is coming from Game Daily, who, at the rate things are going, Game Daily I might have to add to my approved list.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Well, Game Daily and one other source has been providing some decent articles lately, but the Pitchford v. Calendar suit has had some new documents put in. First we go into a bit of the background, along with the allegations, along with the USB drive, and a bunch of other stuff. On June 12th, Calendar's attorneys submitted a new 76-page filing that includes an amendment to the Borderlands 3 contracts between Gearbox and 2K, originally dated November 29th, 2016. That references the $12 million plus another $3 million for the remaining Gearbox co-founder and CFO Stephen Ball. This contract amendment includes a clause called bonus for satisfaction of dedicated executive requirement. This clause states that Gearbox is eligible for a recoupable $15 million bonus. In other words, upon satisfaction of the terms, publisher 2K Games would pay out $15 million to Gearbox, split into 3 payments of $5 million each. These are funds earned by Pitchford and Ball in their roles as Gearbox employees. 2K Games very much wanted Pitchford and Ball to involved in the project, and the clause ties the $15 million as 3 key development milestones including release to master, or what's also known as going gold, and that their attentions toward the development and success of Borderlands 3 and their personal engagement for 30 hours per week. The word recoupable apparently is important because it indicates that the bonus was part of 2K's funding of Borderlands 3's development, and like most publisher expenses, must be paid back by way of royalties after the game ships. In the original complaint, he alleged misappropriation of funds. In this amended petition, he and his attorneys have provided both the original contract clause and an amendment for the bonus for satisfaction clause.
So they didn't give it back the return of investment.
That's what it's sounding like.
Yeah, you gotta pay your tithes, you bastard.
The March 2017 amendment authorizes 2K Games to divert Pitchford's $12 million recoupable bonus to his personal company, Pitchford Entertainment Media and Magic. The document, which is redacted, does clearly bear signatures for both Gearbox and 2K representatives. In addition, the latest amendment specifically points to Gearbox's repeated instance that Calendar was lying so egregiously that the studio threatened to take action against Calendar by filing a grievance against him with the State Bar of Texas. Gearbox has not followed through on this threat. While we now have proof that funds were originally intended to be paid to Gearbox have since been diverted to Pitchford's company, there are factors that aren't understood. Pitchford is a 50% owner of Gearbox Software LLC and has 51% operational control, with Ball controlling the rest. According to attorney Richard Hogue of the Hogue Law Firm, the ownership situation could confound the matter. Quote, if the royalty were just owed to Gearbox on the whole and then Randy diverted it, it would look very much like stealing. As an officer or director, you owe a duty to protect the assets of the company. That's usually divided into a duty of loyalty and a duty of care. Here, the duty of loyalty is very much implicated, as one could argue, as they are in fact arguing, that Randy took a business opportunity directly out of the hands of the company he owes this duty towards. However, he says a case could be made that he earned those funds directly. It was likely Randy negotiating the agreement directly, so that brings up its own concerns, especially if the plan was always for Randy to receive this $12 million. In fact, if it weren't in functional control of the company, I wouldn't doubt that such a provision were an agreement of this type, that he could go to his board and CEO and say, I deserve a portion or perhaps all of such bonus amount. The issue is that he's in control of the company, and I'm not sure they went through the proper corporate processes to cleanse any such decision to divert the funds to his magic company. Such a cleansing action would ordinarily take place through the approval of disinterested directors and or stockholders. In other words, if the folks are not directly benefiting from the contract or the payment approve of it, generally the law is going to be okay with it. It's the kind of thing that a general counsel would recommend. With the new documents coming to light, Pitchford's attorneys filed a motion to enforce a protective order that the parties previously agreed upon to protect confidential documents between Gearbox and 2K. That motion was denied, as Calendar's counsel pointed out that these documents were not part of discovery and therefore could not be included in the protective order. Gearbox has declined to comment. 2K gave a we deny everything and a no comment. A jury trial is still set for January 7th, 2020. However, a settlement may preclude the need for public fights. And I think Mike Futter, who wrote this, has the perfect coda for this thing. No matter who wins in front of a judge, Gearbox is losing in the court of public opinion. Each new element of this story that comes to light overshadows the work of the studio's developers and the long-awaited Borderlands 3. And really, the developers of Borderlands 3 are who I feel the most bad for, because they didn't ask for any of this. They just wanted to make a game.
But it's not like that means like we consent, but then the third party comes around and is like, are you forgot to ask me something or something like that?
Yeah, it's in a way you could say that Gearbox's employees are the equivalent of the LA Chargers.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
It's like they didn't. Also, fuck you, Spanos. But what I'm getting out of this, and maybe something like this should be submitted to French or Lesser or Ricada. But the vibe I get,
that's why I'm here.
But the vibe that I get out of this document is that they're accusing that that $12 or $15 million should have been diverted to Gearbox and not to Randy Pitchford's personal company. And even if this was a case of a bylaw fuck up, it does carry the message not too far removed from the Colonial Marines incident, where he was using company money towards his own projects. Much like how with Colonial Marines, the accusation was he was diverting Colonial Marines money towards Borderlands 2. Even though Sega bore the bigger brunt of that lawsuit.
I get the sense of overkill being the word here. You won, but the overkill. I don't know. That's the word that pops to mind.
That
Oh,
I
definitely.
could most certainly see. I do think that that even with that, you still have two childhood friends who are getting into a slap fight, and ultimately, if Pitchford decided to just settle and didn't decide to start airing dirty laundry, especially with that whole claptrap thing we talked about 2 weeks ago,
Oh yeah.
like the big problem that I'm having with all this is that it's overshadowing what should be legitimate hype for Borderlands 3. Even if I'm not going to be the biggest Borderlands fan, obviously, but the people who are hyped for it should have every reason to be hyped without this thing clouding the matter.
Yeah, but it's gonna get impossible for not to ignore because he's getting in all sorts of freaking legal trouble. And
But then we have a case that now Sargon had covered this, and I thought this was too spicy not to. It's a case of get woke, get sued.
Yeah. Get woke, get sued. About to turn into get woke, get broke. Literally. As in, not a goddamn penny.
So
oh boy.
so a brewer called Brewdog, who I've never heard of, and
Me neither. Won't take them.
me neither.
it sounds like a local British beer. But they decided to do a pink. They decided to do a pink beer that was advertised for £4 because Mo wage gap, and was called
Oh,
Beer for
great.
Girls.
Oh God, again, it goes back to that whole black wine thing with Toad You the Militant Black guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And
pink. So now they're going for pink beer, really?
a pink
You're paying extra.
a pink IPA that they said was to expose the sexist marketing techniques used to target women, particularly within the beer industry.
So basically, that just depends on what is in there. I mean,
I'm just going to say
It's
this.
a bold strategy.
I'm going to say this. As someone who has tried the Hefewheaton at Ottawa Comic Con, don't get me wrong, Will Wheaton is, Will Wheaton, but the beer itself had like a weird bubblegum taste that actually meshed well with the way the beer was made. I get that, but a pink brew?
yeah,
Really?
just because you're woke, good luck with that, Sweetums.
I'm sorry,
Apparently,
boys.
They also have a brand called Punk IPA, which I get the feeling that all that is just their standard beer with a pink label. But then things get interesting.
Oh boy.
So
The
Dr.
pandering is
Bower
strong. Also, real
from
quick,
Cardiff
Mildred.
said that the bartender
Mildred, real quick.
at the bar at the Westgate Street refused to serve him the drink on the grounds that he was male, and then offered him the Punk IPA that was sold for £5 instead of £4.
Oh boy.
The engineer then said, after a bit of back and forth with me protesting this, I felt forced to identify as female, and then was able to get the drink for £4. I complained to the company about this, and they said it wasn't discrimination because the price difference was part of a national campaign to raise awareness about the gender pay gap. Not satisfied with this, I complained again to Brewdog, saying that I was intending to take them to court over this, but would rather resolve the problem outside court. They ignored this. I guess they thought he was bluffing. Turns out he wasn't. He took them to small claims court.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drinks.
Yep.
He took them to small claims court, stating if they apologized publicly, he would drop the claim. He claimed for damages and an apology for direct discrimination and the breach of the Equality Act 2010, according to court documents dated May 2013. Not 2013, 2019. In the document, Dr. Bauer said, quote, I felt forced to lie about my sex in order to receive the product at the lower price and told the bartender that I identified as female. The bartender then served me the drink at a price of £4. In a transcript, Judge Phillips' judgment said, in my judgment, it is clear in this case that the claimant has been directly discriminated against by the defendant because of his sex. The fact that identifying as female, he was still able to purchase a pink IPA makes no difference. I accept what Dr. Bauer says namely that identifying as female was the only way he could purchase a pink IPA at a cost of £4. He added that Dr. Bauer would have felt humiliated and it was not a pleasant experience for him.
You know what? I think that's enough for an all rise, and if that is the case, how
definitely.
appropriate for this story.
Yes. Yeah, I'd say that's a rise. I will do that.
Oh, yeah.
And he wanted a cheaper beer, and he got £1,000.
Yeah, most expensive beer he's ever tasted.
With that kind of money, he could get one half of a Crystal Skull vodka. But he had represented himself in court because he said he did not want to profit from the case, and he donated the damages to charity, saying, "After taking into account my costs, I donated equal amounts of this award to the Young Women's Trust, which aims to help women negotiate for better pay, and the Campaign Against Living Miserably, which runs a male suicide prevention line, among other things." He also ended that he said he does not deny the existence of the pay gap, but that there should be equal opportunities over equal outcome.
Hey, Mildred, I try, but I'm fatigue is setting in, so I gotta check out.
All right, I think regarding the even though normally I would not do this, but here's what I'm gonna do if you can go for a few more minutes. I'm going to move up the EA thing, and the remaining stuff I'm going to preserve for next week.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, with that said, there will of course be no main event, but we do have EA egregious assholes.
Gentlemen, may I?
Yes. This one's all yours,
Because,
man.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ben. I'm going to move on. Okay. I get up in the morning, one morning.
Oh my god.
You know, I take my shower, I shave just like anybody else. Take my stuff, get on the bus, and like any other millennial person, whip out my phone, get on the Facebook. Lo and behold, the first thing I see on my feed from fandomwire.com, quote, actually, Electronic Arts, quote, loot boxes aren't gambling.
The gang fucks up definition.
Scared my bus driver. I proceed to explain said situation. He explained, and he gets a chuckle because he's a gamer himself, don't you know?
Yeah, really.
Yeah. So, continue, boys. I'm laughing. I'm smiling right now. I got a big fat smile on my face over this.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you.
Are you getting a smile out of your face because it's EA or because you contributed?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Yeah.
The answer is yes, obviously.
So, Electronic Arts had done a hearing where VP of Government and Legal Affairs Kerry Hopkins testified in front of a committee in the UK for the purpose of defending the microtransactions and loot boxes that are present in their titles, and said Like, actually, you know what? Given how robotic the responses were, I think I need to break out the NPC voice.
The robot
Yeah.
voice, yeah.
Well, first, we don't call them loot boxes. We look at them as surprise mechanics. To which I have to retort, surprise butt sex in prison is still a surprise, you know.
Oop.
She goes, if you go to a store that sells a lot of toys and you do a search for surprise toys, what you'll find is this is something that people enjoy. People enjoy surprises.
Oh god, it looks like
And
someone.
she compares
like,
loot boxes to fucking Kinder eggs.
oh my god,
Drink.
really? Oh
They
boy.
are. That they are quite ethical and quite fun and enjoyable to people. I defy you to
The
find
game's
somebody who
tone
actively
deaf.
enjoy. Now, yeah, there are those videos of people opening up packs. Except here's the thing. One, those are usually made by shill ass channels, and two, most of the people who actually play the damn games don't like this kind of thing because it's nothing but a frustration.
Yeah, really. You know, EA keeps stepping on it and stepping on it and stepping on it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Mark Kern and Razor Fist is trying to warn us on how how this regulatory how this regulatory push might be a freaking Trojan horse waiting to happen. Like,
Yeah,
say for instance, they decide, yeah,
I understand where they're coming from on that, but I'm starting to wonder if maybe they're looking for something that isn't there. Or to put it another way, I think the cynicism might be a factor.
oh, definitely.
I'm not saying that it is, but it is something I could feasibly see.
Yeah. Like I said, there's also a little tinfoil hat theory that I had that freaking that this whole loot box ploy was just a was just an attempt to attract governmental officials into the gaming industry and try to censor it that way. So they put all the censor laws in their favor, as usual.
I if that was the case, they would have brought them in. They would have brought them in a long time ago. That's why I don't really buy it.
Yeah.
Especially since the sole reason you started seeing this government involvement was because of the aftermath of the Battlefront 2 thing.
Oh, definitely.
Because once investors started pulling out of Disney over this, that was when people started bringing up attention.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that Disney was actively entertaining the idea of giving the license to another company.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't blame Disney for that one.
Which that kind of talk is currently died down, but I think it's a case of Disney just telling EA, just give me an excuse. Give me one excuse why I shouldn't call the whole damn thing off.
No one would blame them. Not one soul.
No.
This is coming from Lucasfilm, which is also equally, if not more so, vilified these days.
Definitely. There is doubt on the on that on that front.
Well, anyway, I'm gonna. Well, I'm fixing to check out. So
I think that's as good a spot as any to call it for now. This did go a little bit longer than initially planned. Plus, I think for some of us, you guys have been going through the ringer, and even though I can be a marathoning machine, I'm not going to impose that on anyone else. That being said.
Yeah, sorry for being quiet there for a bit. I was responding to something that I find quite interesting.
Oh.
Maybe if it's worth it, post a link somewhere in the Discord.
Oh, it's just a little bit of an exchange in the comment section of a certain video. Someone apparently took exception to I don't know if you guys follow Mindless Entertainment, but she did a video.
Jesse Milestone? Yeah, what happened here?
Well, she did the video about so I hate to get political, but I'm gonna have to. She did the video on Shoe on Head being silenced over the whole like the cartoon with the same sex couple. Yeah. So Kane Reaver, since you've taken the time to engage with me, I will show you the same courtesy, and I'll go ahead and read our little exchange. Because I'm curious. I want you guys to tell me if I'm in the wrong on this one. So...
Alright.
So, Shoe on Head was talking about, it's a cartoon that had a same-sex couple walking down the aisle, etc., etc.
Yeah.
My comment about this, and Mindless Entertainment had a obviously biased take on it. That's perfectly fine. You can have biases. That's not my problem. So my comment. Anyone being silenced about this is wrong. End of story. I do want to point out one thing, however. You forgot that this is aimed at a child audience. How about we just leave out sex, marriage, etc. until children are old enough to understand what they're being force-fed? Kind of strong words, I understand.
Yeah.
So Kane responds. Do I actually have to really go pull this up? Yeah, I do. Okay. So, Kane responds. Cool. So we also need to remove straight relationships and weddings and all other moral stories of things such as lying, murder, etc. Can't have any of those adult themes being rammed down kids' throats, right? Obviously, a little bit salty. Guess he didn't like my take.
Oh, yeah.
So, my response. You're missing my point. Trying to force a concept on a child too underdeveloped to understand something is immoral, in my opinion. And it's not just because of the topic at hand. Letting a 5-year-old watch the Saw movies would be no different. But hey, it's your kid, not mine, and I'm not authoritarian either, so I won't advocate for banning it either. It's just my opinion. Response. I'm not missing your point. Your argument is just weak. Children old enough to watch a cartoon and old enough to understand the concept of marriage can quite easily comprehend the idea of marriage being possible between a same-sex couple. But you did just compare showing 2 male cartoon characters walking down the aisle to fucking Saw. So I'm clearly attempting to reason with a completely warped fool.
Yeah.
Spicy response. Spicy. So this is what I just responded, hence why I was so quiet. Your statement shows that you indeed missed my point. I'm not comparing Saul to marriage. It's an example I use to contrast what's appropriate and what isn't. Clarify. If someone of appropriate age can comprehend a concept, then fine. My point is entertainment should be entertainment. My issue isn't about the same-sex couple, and I never said it was. My issue is that it's specifically geared towards children. I also included marriage and sex in my... It's not just same-sex couple. You made an assumption you made the assumption I had an issue with that aspect only. Just my opinion from a friendly fool on the internet.
Yeah. Here's what some of them are missing the point on, especially with this whole Arthur thing. Okay, is that in
They
this
get rid of
day and
touch-
age, you have to double check. You have to double check why they're releasing that episode. Okay. When I saw this come out, and it's like, oh, they're promoting gay aardvarks. I'm like, it's not. I don't have an issue with that in and of itself. I'm just what annoys me is they do it on the pretense of wokeness.
Yeah, again, that's why I say I don't, because I know what the target audience is.
Yeah.
I don't think it's quite appropriate. Now, if it was going to be, your after-school Toonami block style programming or something, yeah, all right, fine. But it's geared towards a much younger audience. People that might be watching Arthur. That's clear. It's not geared towards 12, 13-year-olds. It's geared towards 5 and 6-year-olds. You're telling me your 5-year-old or your 6-year-old has the ability to even comprehend the concept of sex or marriage? Well, you must have a really sharp 5 or 6-year-old.
Oh no shit! More of those woke 6-year-olds.
I thought it was
I guess it's
8-year-olds.
geared
Did
towards
they change
Desmond.
it?
Yeah, they gotten younger, dude. It's just like pedophilia.
Yeah, they did indeed change it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
All right.
I had to ask because I wanted to get somebody else's opinion because I wanted to see if I was in the.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and check out. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and check out. So I'll see you.
I mean, it's a gray zone for the most part because when you think about it,
What?
if I'm a parent, I'd be like, all right, let's keep the concept simple. I'll teach us like when a man and a woman may love each other very, very much. They do the birds and the bees, and then they get married. And then after they get older, well, it's not just men and women; it's women and women and men and men.
Exactly.
Keep it simple, then build it up.
Yeah, build up over time. But anyway, y'all take care. All right.
All right.
All right, Aaron, have a good one. Thanks for your feedback.
As a final note for those in the chat, like I said, tomorrow will not be the Legend and Sword and Fairy. I am postponing that run until I can figure out a proper control setup that I want to do for it. But instead, we're tackling something that might be a little familiar, Maddie, because at least in video game form, I'm going back to the 9th world.
Ooh.
Torment, Plains of Numenera, Monday at 8. Be there or be triangular. Tuesday is going to be Shadow Warrior. I am sorry that these streams got fucked up last week. I had a bit of a nagging health issue, let's say, which is another way to say my eye was acting up. But that's what you guys can look forward to. And as I mentioned at the start of the show, on Saturday I will have another review up of Unchained Heroes. Lastly, I've only gotten like a couple entries so far. On the Monastery Discord, on the general chat in its description, you will see a link for both review requests as well as the Characters with Character project, which I do want to make into a semi-regular video series. Give me a character from an anime, from a manga, from a TV show, what have you. Even a wrestling character, I can do that. Put it in there. Let me know any additional notes that you want me to focus on, and submit. And I will add that to the list. As I got a bunch of different games, so why should I focus on just doing fantasy shit? That is what's going to be coming down the line. So I hope you'll look forward to it, and I hope some of you contribute with some characters so we can make that thing as interesting as possible. But until then, when next we meet, my name is Mildra. I am your gaming monk. Stay frosty, everybody.